This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Thank you, Patricia. Hello, everyone. Welcome to DBL. It's good to see everyone. It's Monday, January 4th. I'm Tori here with my good friends Jeff and Erica. How is everyone? Good?
You overcompensated a little bit there.
Too much?
Too much.
I came in really like syrupy and like, good morning.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Blast.
I tried to be all serious.
Sorry.
Oh, man.
Starting off the new year just the way we ended the last one.
Exactly. You guys had a good New Year's, though? Everyone okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't do anything. Stayed home with my family. I'm a little disappointed. You know, like with 2020, didn't end the way I wanted it to. The Beebs didn't work out for me. Tried to get the show, and it didn't come through because it got overloaded with Beeb supporters.
So you didn't get
So I didn't get a chance to see it. So,
And
but it was,
you paid?
I paid
Again?
and I'm still waiting for my money back. I'm going to blow you up. If you don't give me my money back today, tomorrow, I'm
You're
going to call
saying
you
it?
out on the show. So
Wow.
better answer that email. I'll give you my money back.
This is about
That's
a Justin
the
Bieber
second
show,
time
everyone.
that you've paid to see Justin Bieber.
I know. People underestimate the power of the Beebs. They can't handle the space satellites and all that.
I think they can, but I'm so sorry. Let's hope you get
How
your
about
money
you guys?
back.
Anything for New Year's special?
No, I pretended to be like annoyed by Andy and Anderson Cooper. I don't know if a lot of you watched, and I just fell in love with them. I think they're so ridiculously cute. So I took a vodka shot with them on the TV and went to bed.
Happy New Year.
Yep, happy 2021. That was it.
That was sadder than mine.
I know, I feel bad. All right, let's get to what everybody is talking about, and we are going to get this taken care of in terms of break it down for you. Did the president break the law? That's what a lot of people are asking. It's all over this hour-long phone call that was leaked. You've probably heard about it or heard the audio. It was between the president and Georgia's Secretary of State. He's there on the right. The president demanded that he, quote, find enough votes to hand him a win in the election in that state. So here are a couple clips of that phone call.
The people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state, and flipping the state is a great testament to our country, because, and there's just, it's a testament that they can admit to a mistake, or whatever you want to call it, if it was a mistake, I don't know.
Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger was on GMA this morning, repeating some of what he told the president. Take a look at this.
He did most of the talking, we did most of the listening, but I did want to make my points that the data that he has is just plain wrong. He had hundreds and hundreds of people, he said, that were dead that voted. We found 2. That's an example of just, he has bad data.
So this is a very interesting conundrum here. The question is, was this illegal, and will it have an effect on the special election in Georgia, which again happens tomorrow? So you thought we were done with all this. We're not. I wanted to ask, first off, what did you think about the actual phone call? Legal experts are saying the combination of requesting to find votes and suggesting he might have done some criminal activity does break several Georgia statute laws and federal laws, and many of which he can't be pardoned for because they're state crimes. What did you think about that first, Jeff, and then Erica?
Well, legally, let's stay on that. Was recording that phone call legal? Let's go there as well.
So that was my next question. It turns out it is. And Georgia is a one-party state. If you don't know what that means, it means I can record any one of you two if only I consent. I don't need your consent unless it's confidential. No one was asked to be confidential. And if you think there's attorney-client privilege, which is confidential, the second they make a crime or commit a crime, that privilege is waived. So at no point was this actually an illegal phone call.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think that, that being said, I know a lot of people want to ask that question, but the truth is it's just poison fruit from a poisonous tree if it were illegal, and it turns out that it's not. I find this to be a desperate measure by someone who clearly knows that the writing is on the wall. The idea that he would make that phone call himself speaks volumes. It speaks volumes about the fact that he has essentially isolated himself because there is no one who truly has the allegiance any longer. When the presidency first started, there were a lot of people who were eager to support him because they realized the magnitude and power of the vote of the constituents that he could pull. But now we're at a time where he's doing all of his bidding for himself. It reads very Nixon. It reads very desperate, and it reads like it's the end of the road.
What's funny is Carl Bernstein, if you don't know who that is, Woodward and Bernstein discovered Watergate, what you're talking about in Nixon, and he called this Watergate nothing compared to this tape, that it will go down in history as really one of the most corrupt pieces of evidence we've documented. What do you think about it being leaked? We think it's being reported it was being leaked by Georgia, by the Secretary of State. He told his lawyers to record the conversation and only leak it if the president himself went after him. Trump then did tweet at him saying something disparaging, and then the call was leaked. How do you feel about that, Jeff?
I don't think it's going down in history as like
I do.
Watergate. You're not going to run to Watergate in Trump.
I think you are.
Okay, well, that's your opinion. Just like it's Trump's opinion that he thinks and his constituents and his believers think that he's doing the right thing. You have to understand there's two sides to every story, and especially if you pose one question to me and you, Tori, we're going to have two different answers, right? And it doesn't mean you're right and it doesn't mean I'm wrong. It just means we have two different points of view. If you want to talk technically within the law what Trump did, I can't speak on that. Maybe you can more. You could see him kind of skating around. But to Erica's point, it's his last-ditch effort. It's what I actually believe that Trump thinks in his head that he's doing doing the right thing and that what he's doing isn't illegal, and he thinks those votes are there. I really believe that. And sometimes, and I'm only using you as an example because you're here and we're going back and forth. When you say things, I can't believe they came out of your mouth. And I'm like, you must really believe those things. And I'm sure it's vice versa for you. But I really believe Trump thinks that he's doing the right thing, and his followers want to believe that too.
And that's true. Let's address that, right? Let's just fully address that. A lot of people think there is a rigged election. This was faulty. Dominion did break down with the servers, and there was problems. However, and I'm willing to hear, of course, I don't want election fraud. But when you have no evidence and you have no proof, that's not a fact anymore, and that truth can't be argued, right? The sun is yellow, the sky is blue, he didn't get the votes. Therefore, that truth can't be a reality just because he wants it to be.
But that's your truth, Tori. Have you ever dealt with someone like in a bad relationship? Let's take Trump out of this.
Okay.
And you're talking to a friend and you're like, what are you doing, man? Or woman, whatever. Sorry. Woke 2021. Sorry. How could you make a specific gender? Never mind. I'm already in enough trouble supporting Trump on this one. No, but here's my thing. Have you ever told somebody what are you doing in this relationship? Are you crazy? This person's cheated on you, this has done that, but that person believes in their mind that they're doing the right thing. I think Trump believes in his mind that he really is doing what he's never
even
been
if there's
told.
no facts.
I don't want to speculate what Trump believes in his mind. I do want to say that we have hit a time in the world where we like to commingle opinions and facts. This isn't an opinion conversation. This is 1,000,000% a fact conversation. It's about the law. It's about the democracy. It's about our Constitution. If we want to make that into an opinion-based conversation, then we really lose what is truly the foundation of what the truth truly is. I agree with you that we all have different opinions. I agree with you that to an extent, all of our opinions should be heard. But when those opinions come with power, especially explicit power, then it becomes problematic. And the problem is we live in a society where you can have a platform knowing that you are not telling the truth.
Correct.
And you could have millions of people follow you knowing that you are not telling the truth, but they need to believe it for whatever reason. But when that bleeds into the foundation of our democracy, that is where we have an issue. Because if we do not have at least a basis for which we can all come to agree upon, or at least acknowledge that this is the law of the land, then that means that everything gets shifted. And I know that people want to see that. A lot of people were hoping for that 4 years ago. But I think we all understand how absolutely terrifying that reality truly is by conflating the two, facts and opinion.
What you just said was great, right? But I think to break it down in layman's terms, people are tired of it. I don't think anyone's really like, hey, I'm going to get behind Trump on this one. I think Thursday, it's not going to make a difference. That was a question that you asked right off the top. It's not going to make any difference whatsoever. And as far as this being side by side by Watergate, absolutely not. On Monday, no one's even going to remember this. We're going to move on in 2021 with Joe Biden. I think the majority of America has been like, this is another Trump thing. Let's just move on with
And I hear
lives.
that, but just because we're numb to it or bored of it doesn't mean we just heard a president try to corrupt a state official on tape and it was leaked to everyone. That is in the Smithsonian from now on. That's huge.
Let me tell you something. If Brad Raffensperger is on a conference call, my button's on mute.
Word of the day, muted up. All right, coming up on DBL, we'll introduce you to a pilot who started an organization to help underrepresented groups feel more welcome in the aviation industry. Flying high, all right. And are you giving up alcohol in the new year? Why a mini break from booze might be easier than a full-on dry January. Look at that picture. It says a lot. We'll be right back.
The Verify team has been answering your COVID questions every step of the way, debunking online claims and misinformation. And there's been a lot of talk about new variants of the virus emerging, like the possibly more contagious variant spreading in the United Kingdom and recently found in the US. And there's been a lot of discussion online about whether or not this is typical virus behavior. So we're going to verify, is it normal for a virus to mutate? Here are sources: infectious disease specialist Dr. Linda Nabha, vaccine expert Dr. William Moss, and Dr. Henry Walk, the incident manager for the CDC's COVID-19 response.
I think it was bound to happen. I am not surprised.
Dr. Nabha explained that it's natural for viruses to mutate.
What it means is the genetic code of the virus changes just a little bit. That it is not uncommon to have a different strain of the virus.
Dr. Moss agrees.
All viruses mutate, and RNA viruses mutate particularly. So this virus has always been mutating, just slowly and kind of steadily. What was striking about this new variant or strain that's been described in the UK and now elsewhere is just the number of mutations. It was like a big jump, if you will.
So what do these variants mean for the vaccine meant to combat COVID-19? Our CDC expert said the following Wednesday afternoon.
Based on our present knowledge, experts believe our current vaccines will be effective against these strains.
Both Moderna and Pfizer say they're testing to see how well the current vaccines protect against this variant. So we can verify that yes, it's normal for viruses to mutate. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. If you're considering dry January but don't want to cut out all booze, a top doctor says take a mini break. All right, so what's that? Well, according to the Japanese Guide to Healthy Drinking, refrain from drinking alcohol at least 2 days a week. Also, eat vegetables like cabbage, broccoli, and asparagus because they line your stomach and they actually slow the absorption of alcohol. If you do drink, try sake. Studies show that fermented rice wine has antioxidant properties and its amino acids help regulate energy levels. Finally, remember that booze will dehydrate you, so replenish electrolytes with sports drinks before you go to sleep. Everybody I know and their mother is becoming sober, and I think it's awesome. I'm glad we're talking openly about it. One of our co-hosts, Al, is 1 year sober today. I find it amazing that that's where society's gone. The young people are not interested in the binge drinking of our college years, let's be honest. What do you think about that?
I hate jumping on board these
You're going to say dry January.
I'm doing dry January, and I'm only doing it because of my wife wants to try to get in better shape and try to be more productive. Not like, it sounds like we're just sitting around like
winos.
Yeah, but so I'm like, listen, I'll do it for you because she really wants to try to get into it. So I'm like, I'll do dry January. She wants to go 75 days. I'm like, I'll give you January. I'll give you January. So, but I hate jumping on board. But it's a good way to kick off your new year. I think you should apply your goals all year round. I don't think you should wait till the new year and think things are suddenly going to change. But it's a good way to kickstart your new year, and that's what I'm going to do this year.
Erica, do you think it's a good idea to suggest maybe just mini? It seems like if you have a problem with alcohol, perhaps you should just cut it out completely. It's not easy for people to just do mini things when they're reliant on it, right?
Right. I think that, well, one, if you have a problem with alcohol, that is a completely different thing.
Totally.
And that is respected, and maybe going to AA or finding some other help would be a better solution than these breaks. I had a conversation with one of my co-hosts, this was years ago, who had been at that point 15 years sober. And I was telling him, I'm like, yeah, I just take down, January, maybe June, and I just go alcohol free. And he's like, that doesn't automatically mean that you don't have a problem with alcohol. And he wasn't saying it to me directly, or maybe he was. But he was just saying that people do this and they say, oh, I can stop for X amount of time, so that means I don't have an alcohol problem. So I think that was a very interesting conversation. I don't do it because I can't do something and then not create this impulse to need it more. It comes from when I was doing fitness competitions, and I would go on these 8-month diets.
Wow.
And then I would go for the next 6 months and eat everything I ever saw in life. So I can't do that for that reason.
So you do moderation. You just try to do moderation. I think if you are sober and you're getting sober this year, bravo. And just know that to me, I know I'm going to sound like 100 years old, but our college years was a lot of dangerous alcohol intoxication. And at least I went to University of Michigan, a lot of the Greek system there. And it just seems like, and maybe I'm wrong, the younger crowd is more interested in other things than binge drinking. And I'm hoping that...
Like marijuana?
Yeah.
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 Well, I mean, I'm not going to get into all that.
But yeah, I do.
Yeah. Do you want to get into that?
No, I just meant I do think there's a shift to something that being sober is somehow in Hollywood as well. It's like the cool thing to do. We see a lot of comedians and people doing it as well.
I think it's respectful that you said all that. And I think, but if people want to enjoy a drink and not be, looked down upon,
Absolutely.
I think they should do what they want. I don't necessarily agree with the take 2 days off a week. I think that's where a problem starts.
Yeah.
You're drinking 5 days a week, so I don't want to dive into all that. But I'm giving up something every single month. So January, I'm going to start with drinking. February, I'm going to start with no dairy. So I'm going to do something every month for 12 months. I like to deprive myself of some satisfaction. Is that kind of crazy?
No, it's a type. It motivates you.
If that works for you, that works for you. I don't see any problem with it. I just don't do it because I know that I go the complete opposite direction.
See, mine just shows an appreciation for what I give up. So if I give up cheese, I love cheese. I'm like, oh, I'm going to give it up and, beat my body up for no cheese. Beat my body up. It needs cheese.
It needs cheese so much. How about June? Don't insult Tory month. Huh?
I can't do that.
All right, fine. Coming up on DBL, meet a pilot who's breaking barriers in the aviation industry and helping others to do the same. Don't miss the latest installment of our series, Strong Women, Inside and Out. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to DBL. Lieutenant Commander Angel Hughes is the perfect example of the saying, be the change you wish to see. When she noticed the lack of representation of minorities and women in the aviation industry, she did something about it. Here's her story, showing us what it means to be a strong woman, inside and out.
My name is Lieutenant Commander Angel Hughes. I am a Coast Guard pilot and also a pilot for United Parcel Services. And I'm also the founder of Sisters of the Skies Incorporated. I first realized I wanted a career in aviation while I was
Anthony had already started it,
I remember
so
like
I haven't gotten into it.
I was sitting in my 6th grade class and my teacher introduced the topic of astronomy, and I remember my mind being blown. I fell in love with everything having to do with space and stars, the universe. So I started taking flight lessons at 16 and was licensed by the time I was 17, graduated and went off to college. So we'll fast forward to the year 2015. I'm 29 years old. I'm an active duty Coast Guard military pilot. And up until this point in my career, I count on one hand and keep counting the amount of female pilots I encountered. And I'd never seen another Black female airline pilot. And I'm sitting in my house in Mobile, Alabama at the time, and I'm scrolling through Facebook. And as I'm scrolling, I see a Black female pilot in her uniform in front of a jumbo jet. I sent her a message, so we started a group me chat. So out of 45,000 pilots total within the major airlines, there were less than 50 Black female airline pilots. She invited all of the ladies that she knew in the airline industry, in the major airline. I invited all of the ones that I saw on Facebook. Next thing you know, Sisters of the Skies is formed. The goal of Sisters of the Skies is to increase the amount of female minority pilots through scholarship, mentorship, and outreach. We're helping those pilots, or we're watching them throughout their entire journey through inception of, wow, I can be a pilot, through flight training all the way up to their commercial certificates. To me, being a strong woman means not settling for the minimum, not settling for no, or not giving into the naysayers saying, you know, you could never do that. Be the best at it so no one can tell you otherwise.
Yes, Lieutenant Commander, we see you, sis. Maybe you know an aspiring pilot. To learn more about her organization and find out how to join, go to sistersoftheskies.org. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by... Hello.
Facebook is filled with all kinds of advice about COVID, including this one titled How to Fight COVID at Home, copied and pasted thousands of times from someone who says they survived the virus in November, offering all kinds of home remedy advice.
Home remedies often don't make a lot of sense.
Our expert who agreed to verify and debunk much of that advice is Dr. David Winter.
Some are kind of crazy and some extra dangerous.
The first advice on the social media post always sleep on your stomach, it says, and then get up every 2 hours or so to walk around. Dr. Winter says no.
You know, sleeping on your stomach seems to make a lot of difference for folks in the ICU with really bad COVID pneumonia. But for folks at home, no, I don't think it makes any difference at all. Getting up a couple of times or every 2 hours doesn't make any sense at all. The main thing is to get good rest. So I don't care what position you're in, but get plenty of rest.
The Facebook post also suggests specific liquids, specific fruits and vegetables. Dr. Winter says just eat healthy, like your mom tells you to do.
If you have COVID, or any infection for that matter, drinking lots of liquids and getting plenty of rest is very important.
As for the post's suggestion to take vitamins and to take a small dose of aspirin, Dr. Winter sees no harm in that in moderation. But his best advice is boiled down to this part of our conversation. If I'm going to choose between a Facebook post and Dr. Winter, I think I know who I should probably choose in terms of getting my advice.
There's a lot of misinformation out there right now, a lot of crazy ideas. I get calls almost every day about this new idea, this new thought, and they don't usually pan out. Just use common sense. If you have a question, call your doctor.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. All right, y'all are talking. Leslie from Facebook says a Republican needs to step up and shut Trump up. Interesting. Patty says from Facebook, I'm with you, Jeff. Then we also have Carol from Facebook who says all around, she's just with you. I think
on
Jeff,
the cheese part?
On the cheese part.
Okay.
I think this is Carol. I think Jeff thinks everybody's basically honest and good. I say good for you, Jeff, but sometimes you need to come back down to earth.
No, I don't. I actually think the exact opposite, but I'm trying to train my brain into like, why do you think that? Like psychologically, maybe it's because I have kids. I'm like, why did you do that? So something in your life as like an adult, something must have happened to you that you act that way, and my mind goes there.
Well, yeah, you want to try to make sense out of nonsense.
Wow.
Erica sums up what I say.
So
like I wouldn't even have words on this show if I could have Erica's brain.
Good Lord. DBL, we're making sense out of nonsense. See you tomorrow.
Talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
President Trump caught in a recording asking Georgia's Secretary of State to overturn election results.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
Did he break the law? A guy gets slammed for a proposal prank to his girlfriend of 6 years.
Will you please take these earrings?
I knew it. Was it all in good fun or just plain cruel?
Wait, sit down.
Tom Hanks? Is that you? The new role that required him to go bald. And Blake Shelton faces backlash over his new song. Is it tone deaf?
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It is Monday, January 4th, 2021. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Erica. Al joining us from home. How did everybody's New Year's Eves go? How did yours go, Al?
Mine was great. You know, I just, I drove to Los Angeles, worried about the COVID. So I drove back. It was about a 16-hour drive, worth every second. Had a great time with my kids. So I got back at about 11:50, exhausted, but was able to celebrate New Year's here with my girls. So it was awesome.
Aw, just in time. And you celebrated with the Beebs?
I didn't.
What?
I didn't. 2020 ended the way 2020, you know, with my Biebs story. It would have sounded a lot better if I put that together, but no. Something happened. Too many people logged on the Biebs concert at once. I wasn't able to get the Biebs concert, so I never watched it. Very disappointed in that, but had a good time with the family regardless.
I don't know why I find it funny.
That was mean.
And I'm sorry, Jeff.
Jeez.
It's just the same thing happened with the concert.
Right.
Okay, and what about you, Erica? Did you do anything?
We just went on the patio, stood next to the fire, and opened up a bottle of champagne.
Nice.
So yeah,
Okay.
very low key, and there were a lot of fireworks. Just so y'all know, because I told you that some of them are going to be unsanctioned.
You do anything special?
I didn't make it past like 9 p.m. I'm such a loser. I'm such a mom. We did throw a party, get dressed up, meaning a party with my family. Sophie put on a sequins dress. I put on a sequins dress, and then hit the hay.
When'd you put that on? 3 p.m.?
No, like 7 p.m. I do want to wish our viewers a Happy New Year. Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year. We have lots of surprises coming ahead, and here's to a new year, right? We all need it. All right, so did the president break the law? I know a lot of you are asking us this very question. That's what a lot of people are asking, our viewers are asking. So it's all over an hour-long phone call that was leaked. You've all, I'm sure, heard about it. It was between the president and Georgia's Secretary of State. The president demanded that he find enough votes to hand him a win in the election in that state. Here's a couple of clips of that phone call.
The people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, you know, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state, and flipping the state is a great testament to our country, because, you know, and there's just, it's a testament that they can admit to a mistake, or whatever you want to call it, if it was a mistake, I don't know.
Well, Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, was on GMA this morning repeating some of what he told the president. Watch.
He did most of the talking, we did most of the listening, but I did want to make my points that the data that he has is just plain wrong. He had hundreds and hundreds of people he said that were dead that voted. We found 2. That's an example of he has bad data.
Question is, DBL Nation, and please write us in. We want to hear from you. Was this illegal in your opinion? Will it have an effect on the special election in Georgia, which, by the way, happens tomorrow? Jeff, do you agree with Trump? Do you think that this is criminal?
Well, yeah, let's talk about the law first, right? Because I don't really know the ins and outs of it. Was this illegal? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Was it illegal to tape that phone call? That's another question.
Not in Georgia. You can record. It's a single-party state. You can record unless somebody asks it to be confidential. But in this case, there was nobody in either party asked that phone call to be confidential.
Okay. So, well, again, I think a lot of people are asking that question. In terms of Trump here, I mean, I don't think the question you asked off the top, is this going to affect Thursday's election? No, not at all. I don't think so at all. I think people are over this. I think people are, it's 2021, even though we're leading 2021 at a Trump story, it's not going to be like this all year long. People are tired of it. He's trying, I really think, this is what I think, Sam, to be honest. I think he thinks he's right. I don't think he thinks he's doing anything wrong. I think he thinks there was fraudulent votes out there. He thinks he truly can get those votes and win the election. But the numbers aren't there. They're just not there. But he's rallying up his base in the meantime because these things are getting leaked. And they're like, see, it's true. If Trump believes it, I believe it. It's just not true. People have to start formulating their own opinions in 2021.
I agree with you that he's absolutely rallying the base, but I don't necessarily agree that he thinks that what he's doing is not wrong. Really? I think that he doesn't care. Ultimately, this sounds like a very desperate Hail Mary attempt in the 11th, really 12th hour. You're talking about someone who could potentially be facing prison time. I mean, that's where we're at. And when we're talking about facts versus opinions, it's like, opinions have no place in the facts, and the facts still remain that you have a Secretary of State who felt that they needed to record a conversation because they knew that in a he said versus he said situation that he was never going to win Raffensperger. So the idea that we're listening to this just shows a lot of desperation in the very last minute. Will it affect the election? Who knows? But it is important for people to get out and vote. So please get out and vote.
I appreciate the conversation. And Al, I want to get you in here because, you know, let's remove Trump here. Even though he's the most powerful person arguably in the world, let's just assume that's your boss or that's a friend of yours. Can't we boil that down? And again, I don't want to make this Trump. Isn't this an abuse of power? Let's take the criminality out of it. Let's take us trying to be attorneys, because we all don't know. None of us here are attorneys. This is a vagrant abuse of power, no?
To you?
What do you mean
Sam,
to me, Albert?
But not to other people.
Albert.
I'm saying, Sam, that abuse of power is in the eyes of the person that is judging whether it is abusive or not. What happened when the tax returns came out and it appeared that he paid $750 in taxes? I think if somebody had told you that that was going to happen 10 years before it did, you would say the American people would be in the streets. What do we see? We have an interesting perspective as talk show hosts because we get perspective from all over the country. Half the people that support him say, hey, if I had that position, if I could do it, I would do that too. He's just working the system. Abuses of power are only for the people that deem it abusive. If you look at him as a champion for your cause, they are looking at that as a person doing everything in their power to make sure that they keep that power and continue to go on the path that they want.
Al, I feel like we're living in an alternate reality. Again, I don't want to make this about Trump. If this were Biden, if this were Obama, I would be saying the same exact thing. Wrong is wrong, but now I feel like we're living in this twilight zone where people can just explain away, like you just did, Al. Wrong is wrong is wrong.
Girl, we've been explaining it away. That's been the whole. This has been going on for years.
Erica.
We are tired. We want to move on.
I don't want to move on.
I know you don't. I know you don't. I'm just telling you why everybody else is acting like this.
The president of the United States.
I get it.
First of all, our president right now, instead
Sam,
of
can I ask you a question?
hold
Sam,
on.
can I ask you a question?
Hold on. Our president right now, our president should be focusing on COVID and all the individuals right now who are in the hospital, who are struggling, who are dying, but instead we see this last-ditch effort to somehow win the election because they don't want to lose or they're not used to losing because of their privilege and entitlement. This, again, I don't want to make this a Trump thing. This is just wrong. This is an abuse of power, Al.
Why don't you roll back all the phone calls in government and see who's right and who's wrong? They're all wrong. Everybody's wrong.
Then let's
Everyone abuses their power. Everyone in that Senate, House, White House, government, they all abuse their power. They're all put their hands out to get their back scratched. No, it doesn't make it right. But let's call everybody out like you said.
Then let's 100%
because everyone is abusing their power. Every single person in the government is abusing their power.
But right now we have the president and this phone call in front of us. So what are we going to do? We're just going to dilute it by saying everybody does it? I agree with you, but then again, that dilutes the very action that just took place.
I don't believe everybody does it. We know everybody doesn't do it. We've just lowered the standards so much that we're at rock bottom. That's why there isn't this major outcry. There should be. Of course there should be. I mean, this is the same caliber of Watergate, but we have to triage our lives. You mentioned COVID. Yes, people are dying every day. I just lost somebody to COVID. Like that's the stuff that we're talking about right now. I could give a crap about this man, to be honest. No, I just want to move on.
All right.
I think America wants the same thing. I think everyone just wants to move on in 2021.
We love you, Erica. I know you're going through a lot right now.
I just, it's such a joke. Like, it is such a joke. And that's the thing. It's like everybody wants to, like, deflect from what the issues are. Like, well, let's not talk about this because only so many people. I'm sorry that we're one of 300,000 or 350,000 people who has to go and figure out how to support your family during a pandemic when someone has passed away who didn't even get to have their entire family around them. Like, I'm just sorry, but let me talk about this. Like, no, let's talk about the fact that people have to deal with this every day. Do you know what happens to your loved ones and to your family when someone gets stricken with COVID and ends up in a situation where they're about to lose their life? Like, there is no dignity in that. There is no dignity in what we're experiencing right now. There is no dignity in trying to facilitate a way to get 1,500 miles and make sure that your parents are okay so that they can give their respects to your loved one. There's no dignity in the idea that a year ago you were celebrating with this person and now they're just gone for no freaking reason at all other than the idea that people were irresponsible with the information and irresponsible with making sure that they were protecting other people. Like, I'm sick of having the same conversation over and over. It is not a freaking joke. Yeah. So, I mean, to even have to dignify any of this with a response is just so beneath anyone with any decency or any common sense. And that's the reason why I don't want to go back and forth about some nonsense that we're trying to make sense of, because it's just, quite frankly, beneath me at this point.
We'll be right back.
This is a Smile Direct Club.
The Verify team has been answering your COVID questions every step of the way, debunking online claims and misinformation. And there's been a lot of talk about new variants of the virus emerging, like the possibly more contagious variant spreading in the United Kingdom and recently found in the US. And there's been a lot of discussion online about whether or not this is typical virus behavior. So we're going to verify, is it normal for a virus to mutate? Here are sources: infectious disease specialist Dr. Linda Nabha, vaccine expert Dr. William Moss, and Dr. Henry Walk, the incident manager for the CDC's COVID-19 response.
I think it was bound to happen. I am not surprised.
Dr. Nabha explained that it's natural for viruses to mutate.
What it means is the genetic code of the virus changes just a little bit. That is not uncommon to have a different strain of the virus.
Dr. Moss agrees.
All viruses mutate, and RNA viruses mutate particularly. So this virus has always been mutating, just slowly and kind of steadily. What was striking about this new variant or strain that's been described in the UK and now elsewhere is just the number of mutations. It was like a big jump, if you will.
So what do these variants mean for the vaccine meant to combat COVID-19? Our CDC expert said the following Wednesday afternoon.
Based on our present knowledge, experts believe our current vaccines will be effective against these strains.
Both Moderna and Pfizer say they're testing to see how well the current vaccines protect against this variant. So we can verify that yes, it's normal for viruses to mutate. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozloff.
Welcome back to DBL. We all know that last year was not easy, and now there's a new annual forecast of the biggest risks facing the world in 2021. So at the top of the list is a divided America. Yes, we all know that too well. And the fact that President-elect Joe Biden will begin his term with roughly half the country believing he is not legitimate. Number two is the COVID-19 pandemic continuing far into the next year. And next is the big push to combat global warming. So the question is, DBL Nation, what are you most worried about for this year? And also, what are you most hopeful about? It's really important to I believe, state both, right? You always
Absolutely.
talk about that, Jeff.
Well, you can't have good without the bad, right? There's two things. I think, you know, not to be cliche, but with the first one, how divided we are. Exactly what Erica just went through right now, how emotional she was and passionate and honest. That's what the country's feeling. They're not trying to see both sides anymore. People are digging in their heels, and that's what I'm most afraid of this year. I'm afraid of that. People trying to take sides and not see the other side. Erica, what you said was beautiful, and thank you for saying that. What I'm most hopeful for is that people see that people open their eyes on social media. That's not what life is. That's not what a conversation is. This is real life. Talking to well, this isn't, but this is. Talking to one another, talking through your problems, going through that, hearing Erica's side, hearing your side, hearing my side, listening and changing my opinions like I change my clothes. Just because I wear this suit jacket doesn't mean I'm going to wear it for 10 years. It's the same with your opinions. You don't need to dig your heels in. You need to listen to the other
Well
side.
said. Al, what about you? What do you fear in 2021, and what are you most hopeful for?
Well, I mean, everything kind of keeps circling back to the conversation we had in the first A block, but honestly, it's something that's not on the list, Sammy. It's mental health. I mean, we're all sitting here like we haven't been in our homes for a year. We're not staring at another minimum 6-8 months of being at our home. Like, what about the people that don't get a chance to quarantine with their beautiful family or kids? What if you're by yourself? What if you're just with a random roommate? What are we going to do about the hearts and minds of human beings that have been locked away from society, dealing with all this craziness online, with our political system, with our financial situation, with businesses closing, with COVID deaths? What is the mental health approach that we are going to take? What steps is everybody as an individual prepared to take? Because everything rests on that. Without your mental health, what do you have?
Yeah, Al, I'm looking at my best friend and co-host Erica, who's in tears. You don't have to speak, Erica, but that's real. That's real. I know you're going through a lot, and I know collectively our nation is going through a lot, and it's hard to hide it anymore, right? And I get it. It's a new year. It's 2021, but there's so much residual trauma attached to 2020. And here we are still going into 2021 with COVID, with the divisiveness, like you said so eloquently, Jeff, and we need to get past it. We do. Erica, I don't know if you have anything else that you want to say. I'm not asking you to speak because I don't want you to if you don't want to, but I don't know.
I just, I called our boss and I told him that I couldn't come in. That was on New Year's Day. So New Year's Eve, my friend called me to let me know that one of my close friends is no longer with us.
You're okay, Erica. You got this, girl.
People are in so much pain. And I don't know if any of us really have the tools to
Listen, Erica, we love you. I know it's hard to formulate your words right now, but we love you. That's all that we need to know. Not about what people said or what they're saying. We love you. That's all that matters right now.
All right. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. Listen, we've had a very raw, real, unpredictable start to our show, but I think it fully encompasses everything that our nation is going through with COVID and the divisiveness and mental health. Al, you brought up mental health. Erica's taking a moment right now, as she deserves. I'm surprised she even came in today. And we were going to do a different story, but you know, Jeff and I were just talking. There's just more to talk about here.
Absolutely.
Mental health. Everybody is fatigued by COVID, Al. I'm so relieved that you brought that up, because all of us collectively are in this together, and all of us collectively are struggling. I want you to
You know what, Sam?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, there's something that we have to fight. There's something that we have to completely get rid of, and it's this kind of keep a stiff upper lip and just trudge through and you don't say anything, and just whatever happens, you shake it off and you keep going. And how's that working? Right. It's not working well, because it's not a real thing that people do. We need to talk. We need to say, hey, Jeff, I have to not only continue working from home, but now my kids are all at home. They're 3 different ages, 3 different grade groups. So now I have to figure out how to teach a third grader fractions and a 7th grader about botany. These things are impossible to do. Oh, and by the way, my husband's restaurant's about to close. And oh, by the way, my grandmother's sick and she's in Maine, so I have no way to get to her. How are we asking people to do? What tools are we equipping people to to handle this? Alcohol, keeping the marijuana dispensaries open and hoping that's enough? We have a huge iceberg, Titanic level problem, and this country is heading right forward, and instead we want to bicker about who won this and what the Democrats are doing and what the liberals are doing, and in the meantime we are heading straight for an iceberg that is going to hit us on a cultural and social level that we are not prepared for, and we need to start talking about it, or we're going to have more Erica Cobb situations. We're going to have more people falling apart, because how much can you take?
Well said, Al. Thank you for
Why
that.
are we talking about things if there's no humanity in there? If there's no humanity, why are we talking about it?
Sprinkle on some social media on top of that, Al.
Yeah, doesn't help. Coming up on DBL, thank you, Al. The Jenners' Aspen New Year's celebration. Well, let me tell you, speaking of social media, it's raising eyebrows. Should they really be posting all their luxury vacation pics when so many are struggling? And speaking of tone deaf, is Blake Shelton the latest offender? We're going to discuss all of that coming up later on DBL.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
Hello, I'm William Shat.
Facebook is filled with all kinds of advice about COVID, including this one titled How to Fight COVID at Home. Copied and pasted thousands of times from someone who says they survived the virus in November, offering all kinds of home remedy advice.
Home remedies often don't make a lot of sense.
Our expert who agreed to verify and debunk much of that advice is Dr. David Winter.
Some are kind of crazy and some extra dangerous.
The first advice on the social media post always sleep on your stomach, it says, and then get up every 2 hours or so to walk around. Dr. Winter says no.
You know, sleeping on your stomach seems to make a lot of difference for folks in the ICU with really bad COVID pneumonia. But for folks at home, no, I don't think it makes any difference at all. Getting up a couple times or every 2 hours doesn't make any sense at all. The main thing is to get good rest. So I don't care what position you're in, but get plenty of rest.
The Facebook post also suggests specific liquids, specific fruits and vegetables. Dr. Winter says just eat healthy, like your mom tells you to do.
If you have COVID, or any infection for that matter, drinking lots of liquids and getting plenty of rest is very important.
As for the post's suggestion to take vitamins and to take a small dose of aspirin, Dr. Winter sees no harm in that in moderation. But his best advice is boiled down to this part of our conversation. If I'm going to choose between a Facebook post and Dr. Winter, I think I know who I should probably choose in terms of getting my advice.
There's a lot of misinformation out there right now, a lot of crazy ideas. I get calls almost every day about this new idea, this new thought, and they don't usually pan out. Just use common sense. If you have a question, call your doctor.
We're getting a lot of comments for Erica. Sally says, Erica, you broke me open and I finally cried. Thank you for your honesty and what you said.
I came here today because I lost 2 people, one to a mental health issue and one to COVID. And I needed to be there to represent them because I know other people don't believe in it.
Well, we appreciate you, Erica. You are strong. Okay, we have goodbye.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Erica. Al joins us from home. We had a very real, raw first half of our show. Our hearts are with Erica, and that's what DBL is all about. We always want to keep it transparent with you all, and we appreciate all the comments. And we're going to carry on, right? And we're going to try and lighten things up to help Erica kind of just escape for a moment. So let's do that. Okay, so Blake Shelton started the new year off in hot water. The country singer is facing backlash over his new song, Minimum Wage, which he premiered on New Year's Eve. Have a look. So some people took to Twitter to blast Blake. One user wrote, does anyone else find Blake Shelton's minimum wage song to be incredibly tone deaf to our country's current state? Another wrote, Blake Shelton singing Your Love Could Make a Man Feel Rich on minimum wage just cements the fact that rich people have absolutely no bleeping clue. Okay, so Al, here's the thing. Not only do you have those two tweets, right, but you also had, and I was just looking underneath the hashtag that what is Blake Shelton right now, people also saying that if you look at country music, it's always written, or at least most of the time, by the common man's perspective or the common woman's perspective. So if that's the case, is Blake really tone deaf here, or is he just following that same rule in country music?
I don't know what he was supposed to say, Sam. Look, he is country music, and I'm not trying to generalize here, but it's about the common man. Hey, all I need in my life is my fishing pole, my pickup truck, and my favorite dog, and a bottle of whiskey, and it's a good day for me. But when you reach a certain point in your life, people are going to hate on that. What is he supposed to say? He makes me feel as rich as the $900 million that me and Gwen have. He would also be called tone deaf. It's a euphemism, and not a euphemism, but he's making a parallel that money doesn't mean anything. I feel rich inside. And I think, come on, man, y'all don't see that? Come on.
What do you think, Jeff?
Listen, I don't know what the problem is. I thought he was talking about, listen, I don't care about how much we make or have. We love each other. That's what I saw. I had a 700 square foot apartment in LA. Me and my wife had nothing. We even had our son there. We had nothing, but they were the best times of my life. That's what I think about when I hear that song, not about how much people are making. I guess it's just, in beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Is that it? Since we're just throwing lines out there? That one was mine. See, I made Erica smile.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I don't know what that has to do with this conversation, but I do agree. I think that if we start to really look at people who are singing or even rapping about the common man type things, but they don't live the common man type life anymore, our music catalogs would be severely depleted. I do agree that in that platform where it's a very mainstream platform, of course, people are going to have something to say about it. But do we know that Blake Shelton doesn't live the common man life? Of course we do. Do we want him to know and tell us about it in song? Apparently, some people don't.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say here because I feel like...
Do you agree with it? Do you see any harm in this?
I don't know because, listen, I'll take the other side. Does it offend me? No. Do I think it's tone deaf? Not necessarily, but I also think there's a new awakening today. I think the old formula, whether you want to apply it to country music or apply it to anything else where you try and come from the common man or common woman's perspective, is long gone. I think people want authenticity. And I look at you, Erica, because we saw a lot of that in the beginning of our show. People want authenticity. And I think even though to Al's point,
but that's not Sam.
Even to your point, he's making a parallel. It does not ring authentic in today's day and age.
Sam, are you looking me in the eye in the camera? And I need you to look at me right now in the eye. Look, are you looking at me?
Yes,
You
honey.
see this beautiful face?
I see your
look
gorgeous
at these eyes.
face. Gorgeous.
Sam, tell me this. If Blake Shelton dropped a new song called Y'all Won't Believe How Much Cash I Got, and the whole video was just showing all his checking account balance, where he lives, and saying, I love, life as much as all the money I have. You're telling me he wouldn't get any pushback from that if he's going to keep it real because he's a multi-millionaire? So you're saying keep it real.
Albert, that's not the only way that you can describe love. You don't have to boil love down to minimum wage or opulence and wealth. He could have described, again,
Divorce lawyers do.
I'm just taking the opposite position here. Did not offend me one bit. But considering that many people, we're in a gig economy where many people are not living in a livable minimum wage or they're unemployed, just that buzzword minimum wage right now attached to an ultra rich, privileged celebrity doesn't ring authentic. That's all I'm saying. That was good. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's move on.
I like how you buttoned it up and gave the whole synopsis. That was good.
That was good. I meant our conversation.
Yes, I won that one. Let's move on.
Not my point of view. Okay, so many celebrities took a low-key approach to ringing in 2021. Kate Hudson, She could barely stay awake like me. She posted the pic with her son writing, most likely won't be making it to midnight this year and feeling good about it. John Legend spent New Year's Eve playing games with cards. His wife, Chrissy Teigen, peeled apples instead. Very on brand. Jeff Bridges posed in matching PJs and a beret, of course, with his wife and pup. Khloe Kardashian ushered in the new year with her daughter True and wished for positive vibes for 2021. But her sisters Kylie and Kendall Jenner rang in the new year in style. They spent the new year on the slopes in Aspen with their mom, Kris, and Kylie's daughter, Stormy. So Kylie also posted pics of her vacation home that features a bowling alley, theater, swimming pool. It reportedly costs, get this, $450,000 a month to rent or $25,000 a day. So here's the conversation again.
Well, yeah, it goes back to what Al just said. If Blake Shelton sang that song, Al, I'm taking your side again in 2021, he would get hate just like the Kardashians.
But he can describe his love in a different way considering the climate right now. So he could describe...
I'm sorry, Sam. Did you start songwriting over the break?
Did I what? Yes, honey, I'm a songwriter.
Becoming a songwriter?
Yes.
Like you decide how he gets to describe love?
Yep, songwriter. No. Okay, so let's go to this story. Enough with Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani. And again, I was only playing devil's advocate. Do you think, Erica, that celebrities right now should be hypersensitive to the climate that we're in, considering that so many people are unemployed and struggling? Or should they be able to just post what they want?
I think at this point, everybody should just post what they want. I mean, the real test is the response from the people following. And some people are following because that's exactly what they want to see. Some people are following because they're hate following. It's not as though if they don't post it, and before I was like, yeah, maybe because this is a very common thing, especially with the holidays. People were like, is it necessary for you to post everything that you got? For these people, that's branding. It doesn't offend me, but I can understand that some people are offended because of everything that they're going through. I do just have like a little bit of sparkle in this thing.
Why?
Stormy on that snowboard just got me, okay? I watched that over and over again because my little niece, Evelyn May, who's 2 as well, all I want her to do is come out here so I can snowboard with her. And I am so inspired by the fact that Stormy is 2. Maybe I can get Evelyn May on the snowboard this year. That was the highlight for me. I don't even care about the house.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you're saying that because that's what we should focus on. So Tom Hanks briefly revealed what he looks like with no hair. The actor recently appeared on the Graham Norton show and showed off his shaved head, which, by the way, is for a movie he's shooting in Australia. Watch.
Check out this horrible. Okay. Can you see that?
No.
Look at that thing.
Down. Wait,
Look
wait,
at that
wait.
goofy.
Sit down.
I just scared the children. I want to apologize.
All right, so in case you missed it, here's what Tom Hanks looks like bald. Again, there it is. A lot of people are making a big deal of this.
You don't say.
Yeah. What do you make of him bald? Are there other celebrities that you think could pull it off, could not pull it off? Because there's like a whole hashtag right now whether or not that Tom Hanks can pull off a bald look.
He looks like my dad, first and foremost.
He looks like everybody's dad. Tom Hanks looks like everybody's dad, my dad too.
No, he does not. Your dad's another level.
I know.
Well, I don't want to get into 21 on that one.
Roosevelt.
Yeah,
yep.
Roosevelt. We'll get a picture of Roosevelt. He does not look like that.
Yeah.
But that being said, listen, I don't understand how people break down from the last story to the story before that to Tom Hanks bald, how they get so involved and so passionate and their little greasy fingers are motoring, like little pistons on the keyboard. It's just crazy to me how much people are involved about what people think and what they post and their interpretation of it. It drives me bananas. He's doing it for a movie role.
I would like to see you bald, Jeff.
Do we have a picture of Jeff bald?
Dang.
You look like Tom Hanks.
Oh my gosh.
Shout out to Joel Smart. He probably did that and I look like him.
Look at you. Do we have Al bald or no? No. Okay. So, but Al,
I'm basically bald anyway.
Yeah. Al, but you had a celebrity that you thought would look good bald or bad bald?
Well, I thought they would just look strange just because they're known for their hair and their flowing locks, and that's Fabio. Like, how crazy would he look bald? Because his whole claim to fame is his hair.
Wow. Al threw a reference.
He actually looks good.
Al threw an 80s reference out there.
Yeah, he did.
Al.
Who's old?
Yikes, buddy.
Listen, that's all I got.
It's embarrassing,
I
Al.
will say this,
It's
though.
embarrassing.
Sam, I think we're letting this segment cloud the fact that we about what we were just talking about in the last segment, about songwriting and really great analogies. Jeff Schroeder just said, greasy fingers typing away like pistons on a keyboard. I would listen to that in a song in a second. See, there's beauty all around us, guys. We just miss it.
Thank you, Al. I am looking into songwriting in 2021.
Oh, okay.
It's one of my goals.
All right, we'll wait for that.
And I had a song called Minimum Wage. It's off the list.
Yeah, exactly. Cross that one off. Okay, so a man is being slammed on social media after his cruel proposal went viral. The video on TikTok shows him proposing to his girlfriend of 6 years in front of her family. Look at her. She's in tears. He gets down on one knee, opens the box of earrings. Yeah. Many people called the prank mean and said she should break up with him, but she later posted pics of her actual proposal in March. She said the fake proposal was from last year, and despite all the social media hate, she says her fiance is not a bad guy. Ooh, I would be so mad. I would be so mad.
Al, he totally got pressured into that engagement, don't you think?
What?
Yeah, look, I have to check. There's only one person that's been my spirit animal longer than the woman sitting next to you, Erica Cobb, and that's Judge Judy. Sam, you worked for her, and Judge Judy says things that I just keep with me my whole life. And Judge Judy always said this: when somebody would come in and complain about their ex and they're now suing, she would say, "You picked him." She's been with that dude for a while, so she knows what he's capable of, and apparently either she likes it or she's willing to tolerate it. I thought it was cruel, but hey, I don't have to live with him. She does.
In front of her whole family, Erica.
I'm with Al. She picked him.
Oh.
And stayed with him.
You picked him.
Apparently that's their thing.
No,
Maybe they have like masochistic, like, psychological tendencies.
No.
Maybe that's how the glue that holds them together.
It was a joke.
You would have done that?
I don't know if I would have, but what is everyone so hypersensitive about? He got married. Good for them.
Yeah, like 6 months after the fact, he embarrassed her.
Jeez, you can't have a joke anymore.
We'll be right back.
Closed cap.
Welcome back to DBL. We've all heard of paranormal activity, but so few have actually experienced it. So what's real or what's in our heads? Earlier, I caught up with top paranormal investigator Jason Hawes to talk about the phenomenon and get an inside look at a brand new docuseries, the Amityville Horror House. Take a look.
The demonic force at 112 Ocean Avenue has taken physical form. It's now clear the children are its main target.
We're joined by paranormal investigator and TV host Jason Hawes. Now, Jason, thank you for coming on DBL. Let's get right to it because the true crime genre has become so popular lately, but you take it to a whole new level with this new documentary series. So, Amityville Horror House is based on a true story of a family who moved into their dream home and claimed it was haunted. What was the most terrifying thing the Lutz family went through in your eyes?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different claims. I think anytime you have children involved in a place that has paranormal activity, all of it's traumatizing because you're always in fear for their safety. But we need to remember that November 13th, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. Killed 6 members of his family late at night. Then 1 year later, December 1975, George and Kathy Lutz, with their 3 children, bought and moved into the home at 112 Ocean Avenue. They've always claimed that there was just activity that they were truly terrified to be anywhere alone in that home.
Now, is there anything to be fearful of? You said you were worried about their safety. In your eyes, is there anything like you should be worried about paranormal activity in any sense?
Well, I think it depends on the type of haunting. There's different types of hauntings. And now when I go in and investigate, I believe over 80% of all claims can be disproved. So we're going in from a scientific aspect. But when there's things that are truly happening, you could have something frighten you. You fall down the stairs. You could have something that possibly could be looking to cause you some sort of bodily harm. Also, psychologically, you need to concern yourself. When it comes down to children are more prone to see things than adults because to a child, anything's possible. We got to remember, a big bunny brings them a basket, a big fat guy comes down a chimney. And it's not until we start telling them that their invisible friend Bobby or Timmy isn't real that we start closing them off and conditioning them to our belief system. So children are more prone to see spirits and paranormal activity than adults are because the world's wide open to them. So we need to take into consideration just psychologically for their protection as well.
I'm with you there, but there's a lot of skeptics out there who might not believe in paranormal activity. So convince everyone out there what's real in your mind and what's in our heads.
Well, not to believe in paranormal activity is just silly because para just means beyond. So it's the Greek word for beyond. So beyond the normal of what we're used to. Honestly, I've always been the type of person where I go in, I investigate, and I put it out there and let the world draw their own conclusion on it. And that's very much what we're doing with the Amityville Horror House show on Discovery Plus, where we give you the information, we interview a bunch of individuals, and you can draw your own conclusion. As well as, I mean, Discovery Plus, January 4th. I mean, they've got 3,000 plus hours of paranormal content. So you can go in, you can draw your own conclusions on, depending on the show and see which ones you like and which ones you don't.
I appreciate it so much. Quick answer to this one, Jason. When I shut off all the lights in my basement, I'm going upstairs and I got that creepy feeling. Is that paranormal activity or is that just in my head?
That's in your head.
That's all I wanted to hear, buddy. Thank you so much for joining us again, Jason. You can watch the brand new Amity Horror House and paranormal content on the brand new Discovery Plus streaming app. Again, Jason, thank you so much. We'll be right back, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great day, man.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about helping out your neighbors. Watch how an act of kindness spoke volumes when a woman was about to lose her home.
This woman's neighbor helped her pay rent just in time. Things have been tough for Barbara Gillard ever since her husband died. Michael Gillard died unexpectedly 3 years ago from a septic gallbladder.
I just felt lost.
Barbara fell behind rent as she struggled to make ends meet, resorting to food banks to get enough to eat. She finally found a job as a home health aide, but her first paycheck wasn't going to arrive in time. Before she got paid, Barbara's landlord sent an eviction note. So she posted on Nextdoor asking if anyone knew of services to help. Barbara's neighbor, Mike Cuffield, saw the post and offered to help. He offered to pay her owed rent so she could stay in her home.
My first thought was how brave this woman was to reach out like that.
There are angels in Noblesville, and God put them angels in Noblesville after I reached out to him.
We need more of that right now. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Welcome back to DBL. We do want to take a moment and wish Larry King the very best. The 87-year-old TV host is being treated in the hospital for COVID-19. He was reportedly moved out of the ICU yesterday, thank God. That's according to a source close to his family. He's been in the hospital for about 10 days. So again, we want to wish Larry King all the best for a speedy recovery. We're getting a lot of comments still in regard to Erica. Elizabeth says, I truly appreciate Erica being open and real. There's too much acting like everyone and everything is okay. Prayers and condolences to your family and friends.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very much loved, Erica.
Well, I love you all, and thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Amen.
We love you.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Today on Daily Blast Live.
President Trump caught in a recording asking Georgia's Secretary of State to overturn election results.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
Did he break the law? A guy gets slammed for a proposal prank to his girlfriend of 6 years.
Will you please take these earrings?
I knew it. Was it all in good fun or just plain cruel?
Wait, sit down.
Tom Hanks? Is that you? The new role that required him to go bald. And Blake Shelton faces backlash over his new song. Is it tone deaf?
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Monday, January 4th, 2021. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Erica. Al joining us from home. How did everybody's New Year's Eves go? How did yours go, Al?
Mine was great. You know, I just, I drove to Los Angeles, worried about the COVID. So I drove back. It was about a 16-hour drive, worth every second. Had a great time with my kids. So I got back at about 11:50, exhausted, but was able to celebrate New Year's here with my girls. So it was awesome.
Aw, just in time. And you celebrated with the Beebs?
I didn't.
What?
I didn't. 2020 ended the way 2020 with my Biebs story. It would have sounded a lot better if I put that together, but no. Something happened. Too many people logged on the Biebs concert at once. I wasn't able to get the Biebs concert, so I never watched it. Very disappointed in that, but had a good time with the family regardless.
I don't know why I find it funny.
That was mean.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
Jeez.
It's just the same thing happened with the concert.
Right.
Okay, and what about you, Erica? Did you do anything?
We just went on the patio, stood next to the fire, and opened up a bottle of champagne.
Nice.
So yeah,
Okay.
very low key, and there were a lot of fireworks. Just so y'all know, because I told you that some of them are going to be unsanctioned.
You do anything special?
I didn't make it past like 9 p.m. I'm such a loser. I'm such a mom. We did throw a party, get dressed up, meaning a party with my family. Sophie put on a sequins dress. I put on a sequins dress, and then hit the hay.
When did you put that on? 3 p.m.?
No, like 7 p.m. I do want to wish our viewers a Happy New Year. Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year. We have lots of surprises coming ahead, and here's to a new year, right? We all need it. All right, so did the president break the law? I know a lot of you are asking us this very question. That's what a lot of people are asking, our viewers are asking. So it's all over an hour-long phone call that was leaked. You've all, I'm sure, heard about it. It was between the president and Georgia's Secretary of State. The president demanded that he find enough votes to hand him a win in the election in that state. Here's a couple of clips of that phone call.
The people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state, and flipping the state is a great testament to our country, because, and there's just, it's a testament that they can admit to a mistake, or whatever you want to call it, if it was a mistake, I don't know.
Well, Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, was on GMA this morning repeating some of what he told the president. Watch.
He did most of the talking, we did most of the listening, but I did want to make my points that the data that he has is just plain wrong. He had hundreds and hundreds of people he said that were dead that voted. We found 2. That's an example of he has bad data.
Question is, DBL Nation, and please write us in. We want to hear from you. Was this illegal in your opinion? Will it have an effect on the special election in Georgia, which, by the way, happens tomorrow? Jeff, do you agree with Trump? Do you think that this is criminal?
Well, yeah, let's talk about the law first, right? Because I don't really know the ins and outs of it. Was this illegal? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Was it illegal to tape that phone call? That's another question.
Not in Georgia. You can record. It's a single-party state. You can record unless somebody asks it to be confidential. But in this case, there was nobody in either party asked that phone call to be confidential.
Okay. So, well, again, I think a lot of people are asking that question. In terms of Trump here, I mean, I don't think the question you asked off the top, is this going to affect Thursday's election? No, not at all. I don't think so at all. I think people are over this. I think people are, it's 2021, even though we're leading 2021 at a Trump story, it's not going to be like this all year long. People are tired of it. He's trying, I really think, this is what I think, Sam, to be honest. I think he thinks he's right. I don't think he thinks he's doing anything wrong. I think he thinks there was fraudulent votes out there. He thinks he truly can get those votes and win the election. But the numbers aren't there. They're just not there. But he's rallying up his base in the meantime because these things are getting leaked. And they're like, see, it's true. If Trump believes it, I believe it. It's just not true. People have to start formulating their own opinions in 2021.
I agree with you that he's absolutely rallying the base, but I don't necessarily agree that he thinks that what he's doing is not wrong. Really? I think that he doesn't care. Ultimately, this sounds like a very desperate Hail Mary attempt in the 11th, really 12th hour. You're talking about someone who could potentially be facing prison time. I mean, that's where we're at. And when we're talking about facts versus opinions, it's like, opinions have no place in the facts, and the facts still remain that you have a Secretary of State who felt that they needed to record a conversation because they knew that in a he said versus he said situation that he was never going to win, Raffensperger. So the idea that we're listening to this just shows a lot of desperation in the very last minute. Will it affect the election? Who knows? But it is important for people to get out and vote. So please get out and vote.
I appreciate the conversation. And Al, I want to get you in here because, you know, let's remove Trump here. Even though he's the most powerful person arguably in the world, let's just assume that's your boss or that's a friend of yours. Can't we boil that down? And again, I don't want to make this Trump. Isn't this an abuse of power? Let's take the criminality out of it. Let's take us trying to be attorneys, because we all don't know. None of us here are attorneys. This is a vagrant abuse of power, no?
To you?
What do you mean to
Sam,
me, Albert?
But not to other people.
Albert.
I'm saying, Sam, that abuse of power is in the eyes of the person that is judging whether it is abusive or not. What happened when the tax returns came out and it appeared that he paid $750 in taxes? I think if somebody had told you that that was going to happen 10 years before it did, you would say the American people would be in the streets. What do we see? We have an interesting perspective as talk show hosts because we get perspective from all over the country. Half the people that support him say, hey, if I had that position, if I could do it, I would do that too. He's just working the system. Abuses of power are only for the people that deem it abusive. If you look at him as a champion for your cause, they are looking at that as a person doing everything in their power to make sure that they keep that power and continue to go on the path that they want.
Al, I feel like we're living in an alternate reality. Again, I don't want to make this about Trump. If this were Biden, if this were Obama, I would be saying the same exact thing. Wrong is wrong, but now I feel like we're living in this twilight zone where people can just explain away, like you just did, Al. Wrong is wrong is wrong.
Girl, we've been explaining it away. That's been the whole. This has been going on for years. Erica. We are tired. We want to move on.
I don't want to move on.
I know you don't. I know you don't. I'm just telling you why everybody else is acting like this.
The president of the United States.
I get it.
First of all, our president right now, instead
Sam,
of
can I ask you a question?
hold
Sam,
on.
can I ask you a question?
Our president right now, our president should be focusing on COVID and all the individuals right now who are in the hospital, who are struggling, who are dying, but instead we see this last-ditch effort to somehow win the election because they don't want to lose or they're not used to losing because of their privilege and entitlement. This, again, I don't want to make this a Trump thing. This is just wrong. This is an abuse of power, Al.
Why don't you roll back all the phone calls on government and see who's right and who's wrong? They're all wrong. Everybody's wrong.
Then let's
Everyone abuses their power. Everyone in that Senate, House, White House, government, they all abuse their power. They're all put their hands out to get their back scratched. No, it doesn't make it right. But let's call everybody out like you said.
Then let's 100%
because everyone is abusing their power. Every single person in the government is abusing their power.
But right now we have the president and this phone call in front of us. So what are we going to do? We're just going to dilute it by saying everybody does it? I agree with you, but then again, that dilutes the very action that just took place.
I don't believe everybody does it. We know everybody doesn't do it. We've just lowered the standards so much that we're at rock bottom. That's why there isn't this major outcry. There should be. Of course there should be. I mean, this is the same caliber of Watergate, but we have to triage our lives. You mentioned COVID. Yes, people are dying every day. I just lost somebody to COVID. Like that's the stuff that we're talking about right now. I could give a crap about this man, to be honest. No, I just want to move on.
All right.
I think America wants the same thing. I think everyone just wants to move on in 2021.
We love you, Erica. I know you're going through a lot right now.
I just, it's such a joke. Like, it is such a joke. And that's the thing. It's like everybody wants to deflect from what the issues are. Like, well, let's not talk about this because only so many people. I'm sorry that we're one of 300,000 or 350,000 people who has to go and figure out how to support your family during a pandemic when someone has passed away who didn't even get to have their entire family around them. Like, I'm just sorry, but let me talk about this. Like, no, let's talk about the fact that people have to deal with this every day. Do you know what happens to your loved ones and to your family when someone gets stricken with COVID and ends up in a situation where they're about to lose their life? Like, there is no dignity in that. There is no dignity in what we're experiencing right now. There is no dignity in trying to facilitate a way to get 1,500 miles and make sure that your parents are okay so that they can give their respects to your loved one. There's no dignity in the idea that a year ago you were celebrating with this person and now they're just gone for no freaking reason at all, other than the idea that people were irresponsible with the information and irresponsible with making sure that they were protecting other people. Like, I'm sick of having the same conversation over and over. It is not a freaking joke.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to even have to dignify any of this with a response is just so beneath anyone with any decency or any common sense. And that's the reason why I don't want to go back and forth about some nonsense that we're trying to make sense of, because it's just, quite frankly, beneath me at this point.
We'll be right back.
This is a Smile Direct Club.
The Verify team has been answering your COVID questions every step of the way, debunking online claims and misinformation. And there's been a lot of talk about new variants of the virus emerging, like the possibly more contagious variant spreading in the United Kingdom and recently found in the US. And there's been a lot of discussion online about whether or not this is typical virus behavior. So we're going to verify. Is it normal for a virus to mutate? Here are sources. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Linda Nabha, vaccine expert Dr. William Moss, and Dr. Henry Walk, the incident manager for the CDC's COVID-19 response.
I think it was bound to happen. I am not surprised.
Dr. Nabha explained that it's natural for viruses to mutate.
What it means is the genetic code of the virus changes just a little bit. It is not uncommon to have a different strain of the virus.
Dr. Moss agrees.
All viruses mutate, and RNA viruses mutate particularly. So this virus has always been mutating, just slowly and kind of steadily. What was striking about this new variant or strain that's been described in the UK and now elsewhere is just the number of mutations. It was like a big jump, if you will.
So what do these variants mean for the vaccine meant to combat COVID-19? Our CDC expert said the following Wednesday afternoon.
Based on our present knowledge, experts believe our current vaccines will be effective against these strains.
Both Moderna and Pfizer say they're testing to see how well the current vaccines protect against this variant. So we can verify that yes, it's normal for viruses to mutate. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. We all know that last year was not easy, and now there's a new annual forecast of the biggest risks facing the world in 2021. So at the top of the list is a divided America. Yes, we all know that too well. And the fact that President-elect Joe Biden will begin his term with roughly half the country believing he is not legitimate. Number two is the COVID-19 pandemic continuing far into the next year. And next is the big push to combat global warming. So the question is, DBL Nation, what are you most worried about for this year? And also, what are you most hopeful about? It's really important to, I believe, state both, right? You
Absolutely.
Always talk about that, Jeff.
Well, you can't have good without the bad, right? There's two things. I think, not to be cliche, but with the first one, how divided we are. Exactly what Erica just went through right now, how emotional she was and passionate and honest. That's what the country's feeling. They're not trying to see both sides anymore. People are digging in their heels, and that's what I'm most afraid of this year. I'm afraid of that. People trying to take sides and not see the other side. Erica, what you said was beautiful, and thank you for saying that. What I'm most hopeful for is that people see that. that people open their eyes on social media. That's not what life is. That's not what a conversation is. This is real life. Talking to well, this isn't, but this is. Talking to one another, talking through your problems, going through that, hearing Erica's side, hearing your side, hearing my side, listening and changing my opinions like I change my clothes. Just because I wear this suit jacket doesn't mean I'm going to wear it for 10 years. It's the same with your opinions. You don't need to dig your heels in. You need to listen to the other
Well
side.
said. Al, what about you? What do you fear in 2021, and what are you most hopeful for?
Well, I mean, everything kind of keeps circling back to the conversation we had in the first A block, but honestly, it's something that's not on the list, Sammy. It's mental health. I mean, we're all sitting here like we haven't been in our homes for a year. We're not staring at another minimum 6-8 months of being at our home. Like, what about the people that don't get a chance to quarantine with their beautiful family or kids? What if you're by yourself? What if you're just with a random roommate? What are we going to do about the hearts and minds of human beings that have been locked away from society, dealing with all this craziness online, with our political system, with our financial situation, with businesses closing, with COVID deaths? What is the mental health approach that we are going to take? What steps is everybody as an individual prepared to take? Because everything rests on that. Without your mental health, what do you have?
Yeah, Al, I'm looking at my best friend and co-host Erica, who's in tears. You don't have to speak, Erica, but that's real. That's real. I know you're going through a lot, and I know collectively our nation is going through a lot. And it's hard to hide it anymore, right? And I get it. It's a new year. It's 2021, but there's so much residual trauma attached to 2020. And here we are still going into 2021 with COVID, with the divisiveness, like you said so eloquently, Jeff, and we need to get past it. We do. Erica, I don't know if you have anything else that you want to say. I'm not asking you to speak because I don't want you to if you don't want to, but I don't know.
I just, I called our boss and I told him that I couldn't come in. That was on New Year's Day. So New Year's Eve, my friend called me to let me know that one of my close friends is no longer with us.
You're okay, Erica. You got this, girl.
People are in so much pain. And I don't know if any of us really have the tools to
Listen, Erica, we love you. I know it's hard to formulate your words right now, but we love you. That's all that we need to know. Not about what people said or what they're saying. We love you. That's all that matters right now.
All right. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. Listen, we've had a very raw, real, unpredictable start to our show, but I think it fully encompasses everything that our nation is going through with COVID and the divisiveness and mental health. Al, you brought up mental health. Erica's taking a moment right now, as she deserves. I'm surprised she even came in today. And we were going to do a different story, but you know, Jeff and I were just talking. There's just more to talk about here. Absolutely. Mental health. Everybody is fatigued by COVID, Al. I'm so relieved that you brought that up, because all of us collectively are in this together, and all of us collectively are struggling. I want you to
You know what, Sam?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, there's something that we have to fight. There's something that we have to completely get rid of, and it's this kind of keep a stiff upper lip and just trudge through and you don't say anything, and just whatever happens, you shake it off and you keep going. And how's that working? Right. It's not working well, because it's not a real thing that people do. We need to talk. We need to say, hey, Jeff, I have to not only continue working from home, but now my kids are all at home. They're 3 different ages, 3 different grade groups. So now I have to figure out how to teach a third grader fractions and a 7th grader about botany. These things are impossible to do. Oh, and by the way, my husband's restaurant's about to close. And oh, by the way, my grandmother's sick and she's in Maine, so I have no way to get to her. How are we asking people to do? What tools are we equipping people to to handle this? Alcohol, keeping the marijuana dispensaries open and hoping that's enough? We have a huge iceberg, Titanic level problem, and this country is heading right forward, and instead we want to bicker about who won this and what the Democrats are doing and what the liberals are doing, and in the meantime we are heading straight for an iceberg that is going to hit us on a cultural and social level that we are not prepared for, and we need to start talking about it, or we're going to have more Erica Cobb situations. We're going to have more people falling apart, because how much can you take?
Well said, Al. Thank you for
that.
that.
Why are we talking about things if there's no humanity in there? If there's no humanity, why are we talking about it?
Sprinkle on some social media on top of that, Al.
Yeah, doesn't help. Coming up on DBL, thank you, Al. The Jenners' Aspen New Year's celebration. Well, let me tell you, speaking of social media, it's raising eyebrows. Should they really be posting all their luxury vacation pics when so many are struggling? And speaking of tone deaf, is Blake Shelton the latest offender? We're going to discuss all of that coming up later on DBL.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
Hello.
We're getting a lot of comments for Erica. Sally says, Erica, you broke me open and I finally cried. Thank you for your honesty and what you said.
I came here today because I lost 2 people, one to a mental health issue and one to COVID. And I needed to be there to represent them because I know other people don't believe in it.
Well, we appreciate you, Erica. You are strong. Okay, we have goodbye.
Is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Erica. Al joins us from home. We had a very real, raw first half of our show. Our hearts are with Erica, and that's what DBL is all about. We always want to keep it transparent with you all, and we appreciate all the comments. And we're going to carry on, right? And we're going to try and lighten things up to help Erica kind of just escape for a moment. So let's do that. Okay, so Blake Shelton started the new year off in hot water. The country singer is facing backlash over his new song, Minimum Wage, which he premiered on New Year's Eve. Have a look.
Girl, your love is money. Your love is money. Yeah, your love can make a man feel rich on minimum wage.
So some people took to Twitter to blast Blake. One user wrote, does anyone else find Blake Shelton's minimum wage song to be incredibly tone deaf to our country's current state? Another wrote, Blake Shelton singing Your Love Could Make a Man Feel Rich on Minimum Wage just cements the fact that rich people have absolutely no bleeping clue. Okay, so Al, here's the thing. Not only do you have those two tweets, right, but you also had, and I was just looking underneath the hashtag that what is Blake Shelton right now, people also saying that if you look at country music, it's always written, or at least most of the time, by the common man's perspective or the common woman's perspective. So if that's the case, is Blake really tone deaf here, or is he just following that same rule in country music?
I don't know what he was supposed to say, Sam. Look, he is country music, and I'm not trying to generalize here, but it's about the common man. Hey, all I need in my life is my fishing pole, my pickup truck, and my favorite dog, and a bottle of whiskey, and it's a good day for me. But when you reach a certain point in your life, people are going to hate on that. What is he supposed to say? He makes me feel as rich as the $900 million that me and Gwen have. He would also be called tone deaf. It's a euphemism, and not a euphemism, but he's making a parallel that money doesn't mean anything. I feel rich inside. And I think, come on, man. Y'all don't see that? Come on.
What do you think, Jeff?
Listen, I don't know what the problem is. I thought he was talking about, listen, I don't care about how much we make or have. We love each other. That's what I saw. I had a 700 square foot apartment in LA. Me and my wife had nothing. We even had our son there. We had nothing, but they were the best times of my life. That's what I think about when I hear that song, not about how much people are making. I guess it's just, in beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Is that it? Since we're just throwing lines out there? That one was mine. See, I made Erica smile.
Okay. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I don't know what that has to do with this conversation, but I do agree. I think that if we start to really look at people who are singing or even rapping about the common man type things, but they don't live the common man type life anymore, our music catalogs would be severely depleted. I do agree that in that platform where it's a very mainstream platform, of course, people are going to have something to say about it. But do we know that Blake Shelton doesn't live the common man life? Of course we do. Do we want him to know and tell us about it in song? Apparently, some people don't.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say here because I feel like...
Do you agree with it? Do you see any harm in this?
I don't know because, listen, I'll take the other side. Does it offend me? No. Do I think it's tone deaf? Not necessarily, but I also think there's a new awakening today. I think the old formula, whether you want to apply it to country music or apply it to anything else where you try and come from the common man or common woman's perspective, is long gone. I think people want authenticity. And I look at you, Erica, because we saw a lot of that in the beginning of our show. People want authenticity. And I think even though to Al's point,
but that's not Sam.
Even to your point, he's making a parallel, it does not ring authentic in today's day and age.
Sam, are you looking me in the eye in the camera? And I need you to look at me right now in the eye. Are you looking at me?
Yes,
You
honey.
see this beautiful face?
I see your
look in these
gorgeous
eyes.
face. Gorgeous.
Sam, tell me this. If Blake Shelton dropped a new song called Y'all Won't Believe How Much Cash I Got, and the whole video was just showing all his checking account balance, where he lives, and saying, I love, life as much as all the money I have. You're telling me he wouldn't get any pushback from that if he's going to keep it real because he's a multi-millionaire. So you're saying keep it real.
Albert, that's not the only way that you can describe love. You don't have to boil love down to minimum wage or opulence and wealth. He could have described, again,
Divorce lawyers do.
I'm just taking the opposite position here. Did not offend me one bit. But considering that many people, we're in a gig economy where many people are not living in a livable minimum wage or they're unemployed, just that buzzword minimum wage right now attached to an ultra rich privileged celebrity doesn't ring authentic. That's all I'm saying. That was good. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's move on.
I like how you buttoned it up and gave the whole synopsis. That was good.
That was good. I meant our conversation.
Yes, I won that one. Let's move on.
Not my point of view. Okay, so many celebrities took a low-key approach to ringing in 2021. Kate Hudson, she could barely stay awake like me. She posted the pic with her son writing, most likely won't be making it to midnight this year and feeling good about it. John Legend spent New Year's Eve playing games with cards. His wife, Chrissy Teigen, peeled apples instead. Very on brand. Jeff Bridges posed in matching PJs and a beret, of course, with his wife and pup. Khloe Kardashian ushered in the new year with her daughter, True, and wished for positive vibes for 2021. But her sisters Kylie and Kendall Jenner rang in the new year in style. They spent the new year on the slopes in Aspen with their mom, Kris, and Kylie's daughter, Stormy. So Kylie also posted pics of her vacation home that features a bowling alley, theater, swimming pool. It reportedly costs, get this, $450,000 a month to rent or $25,000 a day. So here's the conversation again.
Well, yeah, it goes back to what Al just said. If Blake Shelton sang that song, Al, I'm taking your side again in 2021, he would get hate just like the Kardashians.
But he can describe his love in a different way considering the climate right now. So he could describe...
I'm sorry, Sam. Did you start songwriting over the break?
Did I what? Yes, honey, I'm a songwriter.
Becoming a songwriter?
Yes.
Like you decide how he gets to describe love?
Yep, songwriter. No. Okay, so let's go to this story. Enough with Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani. And again, I was only playing devil's advocate. Do you think, Erica, that celebrities right now should be hypersensitive to the climate that we're in, considering that so many people are unemployed and struggling, or should they be able to just post what they want?
I think at this point, everybody should just post what they want. I mean, the real test is the response from the people following. And some people are following because that's exactly what they want to see. Some people are following because they're hate following. It's not as though if they don't post it, and before I was like, yeah, maybe because this is a very common thing, especially with the holidays. People were like, is it necessary for you to post everything that you got? For these people, that's branding. It doesn't offend me, but I can understand that some people are offended because of everything that they're going through. I do just have like a little bit of sparkle in this thing.
Why?
Stormy on that snowboard just got me, okay? I watched that over and over again because my little niece, Evelyn May, who's 2 as well, all I want her to do is come out here so I can snowboard with her. And I am so inspired by the fact that Stormy is 2. Maybe I can get Evelyn May on the snowboard this year. That was the highlight for me. I don't even care about the house.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you're saying that because that's what we should focus on. So Tom Hanks briefly revealed what he looks like with no hair. The actor recently appeared on the Graham Norton show and showed off his shaved head, which, by the way, is for a movie he's shooting in Australia. Watch.
Check out this horrible. Okay. Can you see that? No. Look at that thing.
Wait,
Look
wait,
at that
wait.
goofy.
Sit down.
I just scared the children. I want to apologize.
All right, so in case you missed it, here's what Tom Hanks looks like bald. Again, there it is. A lot of people are making a big deal of this.
You don't say.
What do you make of him bald? Are there other celebrities that you think could pull it off, could not pull it off? Because there's like a whole hashtag right now whether or not that Tom Hanks can pull off a bald look.
He looks like my dad, first and foremost.
He looks like everybody's dad. Tom Hanks looks like everybody's dad, my dad too.
No, he does not. Your dad's another level.
I know.
Well, I don't want to get into 21 on that one.
Roosevelt.
Yeah,
yep.
Roosevelt. We'll get a picture of Roosevelt. He does not look like that.
Yeah.
But that being said, listen, I don't understand how people break down from the last story to the story before that to Tom Hanks bald, how they get so involved and so passionate and their little greasy fingers are motoring, like little pistons on the keyboard. It's just crazy to me how much people are involved about what people think and what they post and their interpretation of it. It drives me bananas. He's doing it for a movie role.
I would like to see you bald, Jeff.
Do we have a picture of Jeff bald?
Dang.
You look like Tom Hanks.
Oh my gosh.
Shout out to Joel Smart. He probably did that and I look like him.
Look at you. Do we have Al bald or no? No. Okay. So, but Al,
I'm basically bald anyway.
Yeah. Al, but you had a celebrity that you thought would look good bald or bad bald?
Well, I thought they would just look strange just because they're known for their hair and their flowing locks, and that's Fabio. Like, how crazy would he look bald? Because his whole claim to fame is his hair.
Wow. Al threw a reference.
He actually looks good.
Al threw an 80s reference out there.
Yeah, he did.
Al.
Who's old?
Yikes, buddy.
Listen, that's all I got.
It's embarrassing,
I will say this, though.
Sam,
I think we're letting this segment cloud the fact that we about what we were just talking about in the last segment, about songwriting and really great analogies. Jeff Schroeder just said, greasy fingers, typing away like pistons on a keyboard. I would listen to that in a song in a second. See, there's beauty all around us, guys. We just miss it.
Thank you, Al. I am looking into songwriting in 2021.
Oh, okay.
It's one of my goals.
All right. We'll wait for that.
And I had a song called Minimum Wage. It's off the list.
Yeah, exactly. Cross that one off. Okay, so a man is being slammed on social media after his cruel proposal went viral. The video on TikTok shows him proposing to his girlfriend of 6 years in front of her family. Look at her. She's in tears. He gets down on one knee, opens the box, of earrings. Yeah. Many people called the prank mean and said she should break up with him, but she later posted pics of her actual proposal in March. She said the fake proposal was from last year, and despite all the social media hate, she says her fiance is not a bad guy. Ooh, I would be so mad. I would be so mad.
Al, he totally got pressured into that engagement, don't you think?
What?
Yeah, look, I have to check. There's only one person that's been my spirit animal longer than the woman sitting next to you, Erica Cobb, and that's Judge Judy. Sam, you worked for her, and Judge Judy says things that I just keep with me my whole life. And Judge Judy always said this: when somebody would come in and complain about their ex and they're now suing, she would say, "You picked him." She's been with that dude for a while, so she knows what he's capable of, and apparently either she likes it or she's willing to tolerate it. I thought it was cruel, but hey, I don't have to live with him. She does.
In front of her whole family, Erica.
I'm with Al. She picked him.
Oh.
And stayed with him.
You picked him.
Apparently that's their thing.
No,
Maybe they have like masochistic, like, you know, psychological tendencies.
No.
Maybe that's how the glue that holds them together.
It was a joke.
You would have done that?
I don't know if I would have, but what is everyone so hypersensitive about? He got married. Good for them.
Yeah, like 6 months after the fact, he embarrassed her.
Jeez, you can't have a joke anymore.
We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
Welcome back to DBL. We've all heard of paranormal activity, but so few have actually experienced it. So what's real or what's in our heads? Earlier, I caught up with top paranormal investigator Jason Hawes to talk about the phenomenon and get an inside look at a brand new docuseries, the Amityville Horror House. Take a look.
The demonic force at 112 Ocean Avenue has taken physical form. It's now clear the children are its main target.
We're joined by paranormal investigator and TV host Jason Hawes. Now, Jason, thank you for coming on DBL. Let's get right to it because the true crime genre has become so popular lately, but you take it to a whole new level with this new documentary series. So, Amityville Horror House is based on a true story of a family who moved into their dream home and claimed it was haunted. What was the most terrifying thing the Lutz family went through in your eyes?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different claims. I think anytime you have children involved in a place that has paranormal activity, all of it's traumatizing because you're always in fear for their safety. But we need to remember that November 13th, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. Killed 6 members of his family late at night. Then 1 year later, December 1975, George and Kathy Lutz, with their 3 children, bought and moved into the home at 112 Ocean Avenue. They've always claimed that there was just activity that they were truly terrified to be anywhere alone in that home.
Now, is there anything to be fearful of? You said you were worried about their safety. In your eyes, is there anything like you should be worried about paranormal activity in any sense?
Well, I think it depends on the type of haunting. There's different types of hauntings. And now when I go in and investigate, I believe over 80% of all claims can be disproved. So we're going in from a scientific aspect. But when there's things that are truly happening, you could have something frighten you. You fall down the stairs. You could have something that possibly could be looking to cause you some sort of bodily harm. Also, psychologically, you need to concern yourself. When it comes down to children are more prone to see things than adults because to a child, anything's possible. We got to remember, a big bunny brings them a basket, a big fat guy comes down a chimney. And it's not until we start telling them that their invisible friend Bobby or Timmy isn't real that we start closing them off and conditioning them to our belief system. So children are more prone to see spirits and paranormal activity than adults are because the world's wide open to them. So we need to take into consideration just psychologically for their protection as well.
I'm with you there, but there's a lot of skeptics out there who might not believe in paranormal activity. So convince everyone out there what's real in your mind and what's in our heads.
Well, not to believe in paranormal activity is just silly because para just means beyond. So it's the Greek word for beyond. So beyond the normal of what we're used to. Honestly, I've always been the type of person where I go in, I investigate, and I put it out there and let the world draw their own conclusion on it. And that's very much what we're doing with the Amityville Horror House show on Discovery Plus, where we give you the information, we interview a bunch of individuals, and you can draw your own conclusion. As well as, I mean, Discovery Plus, they're January 4th. I mean, they've got 3,000 plus hours of paranormal content. So you can go in, you can draw your own conclusions on, depending on the show, and see which ones you like and which ones you don't.
I appreciate it so much. Quick answer to this one, Jason. When I shut off all the lights in my basement, I'm going upstairs and I got that creepy feeling. Is that paranormal activity or is that just in my head?
That's in your head.
That's all I wanted to hear, buddy. Thank you so much for joining us again, Jason. You can watch the brand new Amity Horror House and paranormal content on the brand new Discovery Plus streaming app. Again, Jason, thank you so much. We'll be right back, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great day, man.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about helping out your neighbors. Watch how an act of kindness spoke volumes when a woman was about to lose her home.
This woman's neighbor helped her pay rent just in time. Things have been tough for Barbara Gillard ever since her husband died. Michael Gillard died unexpectedly 3 years ago from a septic gallbladder.
I just felt lost.
Barbara fell behind rent as she struggled to make ends meet, resorting to food banks to get enough to eat. She finally found a job as a home health aide, but her first paycheck wasn't going to arrive in time. Before she got paid, Barbara's landlord sent an eviction note. So she posted on Nextdoor, asking if anyone knew of services to help. Barbara's neighbor, Mike Cuffield, saw the post and offered to help. He offered to pay her owed rent so she could stay in her home.
My first thought was how brave this woman was to reach out like that.
There are angels in Noblesville, and God put them angels in Noblesville after I reached out to him.
We need more of that right now. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Welcome back to DBL. We do want to take a moment and wish Larry King the very best. The 87-year-old TV host is being treated in the hospital for COVID-19. He was reportedly moved out of the ICU yesterday, thank God. That's according to a source close to his family. He's been in the hospital for about 10 days. So again, we want to wish Larry King all the best for a speedy recovery. We're getting a lot of comments still in regard to Erica. Elizabeth says, I truly appreciate Erica being open and real. There's too much acting like everyone and everything is okay. Prayers and condolences to your family and friends.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very much loved, Erica.
Well, I love you all, and thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Amen.
We love you.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
President Trump caught in a recording asking Georgia's Secretary of State to overturn election results.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
Did he break the law? A guy gets slammed for a proposal prank to his girlfriend of 6 years.
Will you please take these earrings?
I knew it. Was it all in good fun or just plain cruel?
Wait, sit down.
Tom Hanks? Is that you? The new role that required him to go bald. And Blake Shelton faces backlash over his new song. Is it tone deaf?
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Monday, January 4th, 2021. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Erica. Al joining us from home. How did everybody's New Year's Eves go? How did yours go, Al?
Mine was great. You know, I just, I drove to Los Angeles, worried about the COVID. So I drove back. It was about a 16-hour drive, worth every second. Had a great time with my kids. So I got back at about 11:50, exhausted, but was able to celebrate New Year's here with my girls. So it was awesome.
Aw, just in time. And you celebrated with the Beebs?
I didn't.
What?
I didn't. 2020 ended the way 2020. You know, with my Biebs story. It would have sounded a lot better if I put that together, but no. Something happened. Too many people logged on the Biebs concert at once. I wasn't able to get the Biebs concert, so I never watched it. Very disappointed in that, but had a good time with the family regardless.
I don't know why I find it funny.
That was mean.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
Jeez.
It's just the same thing happened with the concert.
Right.
Okay, and what about you, Erica? Did you do anything?
We just went on the patio, stood next to the fire, and opened up a bottle of champagne.
Nice.
So yeah,
Okay.
very low key, and there were a lot of fireworks. Just so y'all know, because I told you that some of them are going to be unsanctioned.
You do anything special?
I didn't make it past like 9 p.m. I'm such a loser. I'm such a mom. We did throw a party, get dressed up, meaning a party with my family. Sophie put on a sequins dress. I put on a sequins dress, and then hit the hay.
When'd you put that on? 3 p.m.?
No, like 7 p.m. I do want to wish our viewers a Happy New Year. Stick with us in 2021. We're going to have a great year. We have lots of surprises coming ahead, and here's to a new year, right? We all need it. All right, so did the president break the law? I know a lot of you are asking us this very question. That's what a lot of people are asking, our viewers are asking. So it's all over an hour-long phone call that was leaked. You've all, I'm sure, heard about it. It was between the president and Georgia's Secretary of State. The president demanded that he find enough votes to hand him a win in the election in that state. Here's a couple of clips of that phone call.
The people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state, and flipping the state is a great testament to our country, because, there's just, it's a testament that they can admit to a mistake, or whatever you want to call it, if it was a mistake, I don't know.
Well, Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, was on GMA this morning repeating some of what he told the president. Watch.
He did most of the talking, we did most of the listening, but I did want to make my points that the data that he has is just plain wrong. He had hundreds and hundreds of people he said that were dead that voted. We found 2. That's an example of just he has bad data.
Question is, DBL Nation, and please write us in. We want to hear from you. Was this illegal in your opinion? Will it have an effect on the special election in Georgia, which, by the way, happens tomorrow? Jeff, do you agree with Trump? Do you think that this is criminal?
Well, yeah, let's talk about the law first, right? Because I don't really know the ins and outs of it. Was this illegal? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Was it illegal to tape that phone call? That's another question.
Not in Georgia. You can record. It's a single-party state. You can record unless somebody asks it to be confidential. But in this case, there was nobody in either party asked that phone call to be confidential.
Okay. So, well, again, I think a lot of people are asking that question. In terms of Trump here, I mean, I don't think the question you asked off the top, is this going to affect Thursday's election? No, not at all. I don't think so at all. I think people are over this. I think people are, it's 2021, even though we're leading 2021 at a Trump story, it's not going to be like this all year long. People are tired of it. He's trying, I really think, this is what I think, Sam, to be honest. I think he thinks he's right. I don't think he thinks he's doing anything wrong. I think he thinks there was fraudulent votes out there. He thinks he truly can get those votes and win the election. But the numbers aren't there. They're just not there. But he's rallying up his base in the meantime because these things are getting leaked and they're like, see, it's true. If Trump believes it, I believe it. It's just not true. People have to start formulating their own opinions in 2021.
I agree with you that he's absolutely rallying the base, but I don't necessarily agree that he thinks that what he's doing is not wrong. Really? I think that he doesn't care. Ultimately, this sounds like a very desperate Hail Mary attempt in the 11th, really 12th hour. You're talking about someone who could potentially be facing prison time. I mean, that's where we're at. And when we're talking about facts versus opinions, it's like, opinions have no place in the facts, and the facts still remain that you have a Secretary of State who felt that they needed to record a conversation because they knew that in a he said versus he said situation that he was never going to win, Raffensperger. So the idea that we're listening to this just shows a lot of desperation in the very last minute. Will it affect the election? Who knows? But it is important for people to get out and vote. So please get out and vote.
I appreciate the conversation. And now I want to get you in here because, let's remove Trump here, even though he's the most powerful person arguably in the world. Let's just assume that's your boss or that's a friend of yours. Can't we boil that down? And again, I don't want to make this Trump. Isn't this an abuse of power? Let's take the criminality out of it. Let's take us trying to be attorneys, because we all don't know. None of us here are attorneys. This is a vagrant abuse of power, no?
To you?
What do you mean
Sam,
to me, Albert?
But not to other people.
Albert.
I'm saying, Sam, that abuse of power is in the eyes of the person that is judging whether it is abusive or not. What happened when the tax returns came out and it appeared that he paid $750 in taxes? I think if somebody had told you that that was going to happen 10 years before it did, you would say the American people would be in the streets. What do we see? We have an interesting perspective as talk show hosts because we get perspective from all over the country. Half the people that support him say, hey, if I had that position, if I could do it, I would do that too. He's just working the system. Abuses of power are only for the people that deem it abusive. If you look at him as a champion for your cause, they are looking at that as a person doing everything in their power to make sure that they keep that power and continue to go on the path that they want.
Al, I feel like we're living in an alternate reality. Again, I don't want to make this about Trump. If this were Biden, if this were Obama, I would be saying the same exact thing. Wrong is wrong, but now I feel like we're living in this twilight zone where people can just explain away, like you just did, Al. Wrong is wrong is wrong.
Girl, we've been explaining it away. That's been the whole. This has been going on for years.
Erica.
We are tired. We want to move on.
I don't want to move on.
I know you don't. I know you don't. I'm just telling you why everybody else is acting like this.
The president of the United States.
I get
First of all, our president right now, instead
Sam, can I ask you a question? Sam, can I ask you a question?
Our president right now, our president should be focusing on COVID and all the individuals right now who are in the hospital, who are struggling, who are dying, but instead we see this last-ditch effort to somehow win the election because they don't want to lose or they're not used to losing because of their privilege and entitlement. This, again, I don't want to make this a Trump thing. This is just wrong. This is an abuse of power, Al.
Why don't you roll back all the phone calls on government and see who's right and who's wrong? They're all wrong. Everybody's wrong.
Then let's
Everyone abuses that power. Everyone in that Senate, House, White House, government, they all abuse their power. They're all put their hands out to get their back scratched. No, it doesn't make it right. But let's call everybody out like you said.
Then let's 100%
because everyone is abusing their power. Every single person in the government is abusing their power.
But right now we have the president and this phone call in front of us. So what are we going to do? We're just going to dilute it by saying everybody does it? I agree with you, but then again, that dilutes the very action that just took place.
I don't believe everybody does it. We know everybody doesn't do it. We've just lowered the standards so much that we're at rock bottom. That's why there isn't this major outcry. There should be. Of course there should be. I mean, this is the same caliber of Watergate, but we have to triage our lives. You mentioned COVID. Yes, people are dying every day. I just lost somebody to COVID. Like that's the stuff that we're talking about right now. I could give a crap about this man, to be honest.
No.
I just want to move on.
All right.
I think America wants the same thing. I think everyone just wants to move on in 2021.
We love you, Erica. I know you're going through a lot right now.
I just, it's such a joke. Like, it is such a joke. And that's the thing. It's like everybody wants to deflect from what the issues are. Like, well, let's not talk about this because only so many people. I'm sorry that we're one of 300,000 or 350,000 people who has to go and figure out how to support your family during a pandemic when someone has passed away who didn't even get to have their entire family around them. Like, I'm just sorry, but let me talk about this. Like, no, let's talk about the fact that people have to deal with this every day. Do you know what happens to your loved ones and to your family when someone gets stricken with COVID and ends up in a situation where they're about to lose their life? Like, there is no dignity in that. There is no dignity in what we're experiencing right now. There is no dignity in trying to facilitate a way to get 1,500 miles and make sure that your parents are okay so that they can give their respects to your loved one. There's no dignity in the idea that a year ago you were celebrating with this person and now they're just gone for no freaking reason at all other than the idea that people were irresponsible with the information and irresponsible with making sure that they were protecting other people. Like, I'm sick of having the same conversation over and over. It is not a freaking joke.
Yeah.
So I mean, to even have to to dignify any of this with a response is just so beneath anyone with any decency or any common sense. And that's the reason why I don't want to go back and forth about some nonsense that we're trying to make sense of, because it's just, quite frankly, beneath me at this point.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. We all know that last year was not easy, and now there's a new annual forecast of the biggest risks facing the world in 2021. So at the top of the list is a divided America. Yes, we all know that too well. And the fact that President-elect Joe Biden will begin his term with roughly half the country believing he is not legitimate. Number two is the COVID-19 pandemic continuing far into the next year. And next is the big push to combat global warming. So the question is, DBL Nation, what are you most worried about for this year? And also, what are you most hopeful about? It's really important to, I believe, state both, right? You
Absolutely.
always talk about that, Jeff.
Well, you can't have good without the bad, right? There's two things. I think, you know, not to be cliche, but with the first one, how divided we are. Exactly what Erica just went through right now, how emotional she was and passionate and honest. That's what the country's feeling. They're not trying to see both sides anymore. People are digging in their heels, and that's what I'm most afraid of this year. I'm afraid of that. People trying to take sides and not see the other side. Erica, what you said was beautiful, and thank you for saying that. What I'm most hopeful for is that people see that people open their eyes on social media. That's not what life is. That's not what a conversation is. This is real life. Talking to, well, this isn't, but this is. Talking to one another, talking through your problems, going through that, hearing Erica's side, hearing your side, hearing my side, listening, and changing my opinions like I change my clothes. Just because I wear this suit jacket doesn't mean I'm going to wear it for 10 years. It's the same with your opinions. You don't need to dig your heels in. You need to listen to the other side. Well
said. Al, what about you? What do you fear in 2021, and what are you most hopeful for?
Well, I mean, everything kind of keeps circling back to the conversation we had in the first A block, but honestly, it's something that's not on the list, Sammy. It's mental health. I mean, we're all sitting here like we haven't been in our homes for a year. We're not staring at another minimum 6-8 months of being at our home. Like, what about the people that don't get a chance to quarantine with their beautiful family or kids? What if you're by yourself? What if you're just with a random roommate? What are we going to do about the hearts and minds of human beings that have been locked away from society, dealing with all this craziness online, with our political system, with our financial situation, with businesses closing, with COVID deaths? What is the mental health approach that we are going to take? What steps is everybody as an individual prepared to take? Because everything rests on that. Without your mental health, what do you have?
Yeah, Al, I'm looking at my best friend and co-host Erica, who's in tears. You don't have to speak, Erica, but that's real. That's real. I know you're going through a lot, and I know collectively our nation is going through a lot, and it's hard to hide it anymore, right? And I get it. It's a new year. It's 2021, but there's so much residual trauma attached to 2020. And here we are still going into 2021 with COVID, with the divisiveness, like you said so eloquently, Jeff, and we need to get past it. We do. Erica, I don't know if you have anything else that you want to say. I'm not asking you to speak because I don't want you to if you don't want to, but I don't know.
I just, I called our boss and I told him that I couldn't come in. That was on New Year's Day. So New Year's Eve, my friend called me to let me know that one of my close friends is no longer with us.
You're okay, Erica. You got this, girl.
People are in so much pain. And I don't know if any of us really have the tools to
Listen, Erica, we love you. I know it's hard to formulate your words right now, but we love you. That's all that we need to know. Not about what people said or what they're saying. We love you. That's all that matters right now.
All right. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. Listen, we've had a very raw, real, unpredictable start to our show, but I think it fully encompasses everything that our nation is going through with COVID and the divisiveness and mental health. Al, you brought up mental health. Erica's taking a moment right now. She deserves. I'm surprised she even came in today. And we were going to do a different story, but you know, Jeff and I were just talking. There's just more to talk about here. Absolutely. Mental health. Everybody is fatigued by COVID, Al. I'm so relieved that you brought that up, because all of us collectively are in this together, and all of us collectively are struggling. I want you to
just... You know what, Sam?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, there's something that we have to fight. There's something that we have to completely get rid of, and it's this kind of keep a stiff upper lip and just trudge through and you don't say anything, and just whatever happens, you shake it off and you keep going. And how's that working? Right. It's not working well, because it's not a real thing that people do. We need to talk. We need to say, hey, Jeff, I have to not only continue working from home, but now my kids are all at home. They're 3 different ages, 3 different grade groups. So now I have to figure out how to teach a third grader fractions and a 7th grader about botany. These things are impossible to do. Oh, and by the way, my husband's restaurant's about to close. And oh, by the way, my grandmother's sick and she's in Maine, so I have no way to get to her. How are we asking people to do? What tools are we equipping people to handle this? Alcohol, keeping the marijuana dispensaries open and hoping that's enough? We have a huge iceberg, Titanic level problem, and this country is heading right for it, and instead we want to bicker about who won this and what the Democrats are doing and what the liberals are doing, and in the meantime we are heading straight for an iceberg that is going to hit us on a cultural and social level that we are not prepared for, and we need to start talking about it, or we're going to have more Erica Cobb situations. We're going to have more people falling apart, because how much can you take?
Well said, Al. Thank you for that.
Why are we talking about things if there's no humanity in there? If there's no humanity, why are we talking about it?
Sprinkle on some social media on top of that, Al.
Yeah, doesn't help. Coming up on DBL, thank you, Al, the Jenners' Aspen New Year's celebration. Well, let me tell you, speaking of social media, it's raising eyebrows. Should they really be posting all their luxury vacation pics when so many are struggling? And speaking of tone deaf, is Blake Shelton the latest offender? We're going to discuss all of that coming up later on DBL.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The Verify team has been answering your COVID questions every step of the way, debunking online claims and misinformation. And there's been a lot of talk about new variants of the virus emerging, like the possibly more contagious variant spreading in the United Kingdom and recently found in the US. And there's been a lot of discussion online about whether or not this is typical virus behavior. So we're going to verify. Is it normal for a virus to mutate? Here are sources. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Linda Nabha, vaccine expert Dr. William Moss, and Dr. Henry Walk, the incident manager for the CDC's COVID-19 response.
I think it was bound to happen. I am not surprised.
Dr. Nabha explained that it's natural for viruses to mutate.
What it means is the genetic code of the virus changes just a little bit. It is not uncommon to have a different strain of the virus.
Dr. Moss agrees.
All viruses mutate, and RNA viruses mutate particularly. So this virus has always been mutating, just slowly and kind of steadily. What was striking about this new variant or strain that's been described in the UK and now elsewhere is just the number of mutations. It was like a big jump, if you will.
So what do these variants mean for the vaccine meant to combat COVID-19? Our CDC expert said the following Wednesday afternoon.
Based on our present knowledge, experts believe our current vaccines will be effective against these strains.
Both Moderna and Pfizer say they're testing to see how well the current vaccines protect against this variant. So we can verify that yes, it's normal for viruses to mutate. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
A lot of comments for Erica. Sally says, Erica, you broke me open and I finally cried. Thank you for your honesty and what you said.
I came here today because I lost 2 people, one to a mental health issue and one to COVID. And I needed to be there to represent them because I know other people don't believe in it.
Well, we appreciate you, Erica. You are strong. Okay, we have goodbye.
We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Erica. Al joins us from home. We had a very real, raw first half of our show. Our hearts are with Erica, and that's what DBL is all about. We always want to keep it transparent with you all, and we appreciate all the comments. And we're going to carry on, right? And we're going to try and lighten things up to help Erica kind of just escape for a moment. So let's do that. Okay, so Blake Shelton started the new year off in hot water. The country singer is facing backlash over his new song, Minimum Wage, which he premiered on New Year's Eve. Have a look. So some people took to Twitter to blast Blake. One user wrote, does anyone else find Blake Shelton's minimum wage song to be incredibly tone deaf to our country's current state? Another wrote, Blake Shelton singing Your Love Could Make a Man Feel Rich on Minimum Wage just cements the fact that rich people have absolutely no bleeping clue. Okay, so Al, here's the thing. Not only do you have those 2 tweets, right, but you also had, and I was just looking underneath the hashtag that what is Blake Shelton right now, people also saying that if you look at country music, it's always written, or at least most of the time, by the common man's perspective or the common woman's perspective. So if that's the case, is Blake really tone deaf here, or is he just following that same rule in country music?
I don't know what he was supposed to say, Sam. Look, he is country music, and I'm not trying to generalize here, but it's about the common man. Hey, all I need in my life is my fishing pole, my pickup truck, and my favorite dog, and a bottle of whiskey, and it's a good day for me. But when you reach a certain point in your life, people are going to hate on that. What is he supposed to say? He makes me feel as rich as the $900 million that me and Gwen have. He would also be called tone deaf. It's a euphemism, and not a euphemism, but he's making a parallel that money doesn't mean anything. I feel rich inside. And I think, come on, man, y'all don't see that? Come on.
What do you think, Jeff?
Listen, I don't know what the problem is. I thought he was talking about, listen, I don't care about how much we make or have. We love each other. That's what I saw. I had a 700 square foot apartment in LA. Me and my wife had nothing. We even had our son there. We had nothing, but they were the best times of my life. That's what I think about when I hear that song, not about how much people are making. I guess it's just, in beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Is that it? Since we're just throwing lines out there? That one was mine. See, I made Erica smile.
Okay. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I don't know what that has to do with this conversation, but I do agree. I think that if we start to really look at people who are singing or even rapping about the common man type things, but they don't live the common man type life anymore, our music catalogs would be severely depleted. I do agree that in that platform where it's a very mainstream platform, of course, people are going to have something to say about it. But do we know that Blake Shelton doesn't live the common man life? Of course we do. Do we want him to know and tell us about it in song? Apparently, some people don't.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say here, because I feel like...
Do you agree with it? Do you see any harm in this?
I don't know, because, listen, I'll take the other side. Does it offend me? No. Do I think it's tone deaf? Not necessarily, but I also think there's a new awakening today. I think the old formula, whether you want to apply it to country music or apply it to anything else where you try and come from the common man or common woman's perspective, is long gone. I think people want authenticity. And I look at you, Erica, because we saw a lot of that in the beginning of our show. People want authenticity. And I think, even though to Al's point,
but that's not Sam.
Even to your point, he's making a parallel. It does not ring authentic in today's day and age.
Sam, are you looking me in the eye in the camera? And I need you to look at me right now in the eye. Are you looking at me?
Yes,
You
honey.
see this beautiful face?
I see your
look
gorgeous
in these eyes.
face. Gorgeous.
Sam, tell me this. If Blake Shelton dropped a new song called Y'all Won't Believe How Much Cash I Got, and the whole video was just showing all his checking account balance, where he lives, and saying, I love, life as much as all the money I have. You're telling me he wouldn't get any pushback from that if he's going to keep it real, because he's a multi-millionaire. So you're saying keep it real.
Albert, that's not the only way that you can describe love. You don't have to boil love down to minimum wage or opulence and wealth. He could have described, again,
Divorce lawyers do.
I'm just taking the opposite position here. Did not offend me one bit. But considering that many people, we're in a gig economy where many people are not living in a livable minimum wage, or they're unemployed, just that buzzword minimum wage right now attached to an ultra rich privileged celebrity doesn't ring authentic. That's all I'm saying. That was good. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's move on.
I like how you buttoned it up and gave the whole synopsis. That was good.
That was good. I meant our conversation.
Yes, I won that one. Let's move on.
Not my point of view. Okay, so many celebrities took a low-key approach to ringing in 2021. Kate Hudson, she could barely stay awake like me. She posted the pic with her son writing, most likely won't be making it to midnight this year, and feeling good about it. John Legend spent New Year's Eve playing games with cards. His wife, Chrissy Teigen, peeled apples instead. Very on brand. Jeff Bridges posed in matching PJs and a beret, of course, with his wife and pup. Khloe Kardashian ushered in the new year with her daughter True and wished for positive vibes for 2021. But her sisters Kylie and Kendall Jenner rang in the new year in style. They spent the new year on the slopes in Aspen with their mom, Chris, and Kylie's daughter, Stormy. So Kylie also posted pics of her vacation home that features a bowling alley, theater, swimming pool. It reportedly costs, get this, $450,000 a month to rent or $25,000 a day. So here's the conversation again.
Well, yeah, it goes back to what Al just said. If Blake Shelton sang that song, Al, I'm taking your side again in 2021, he would get hate just like the Kardashians.
But he can describe his love in a different way considering the climate right now. So he could describe...
I'm sorry, Sam. Did you start songwriting over the break?
Did I what? Yes, honey, I'm a songwriter.
Becoming
a
songwriter? Yes. Like you decide how he gets to describe love?
Yep, songwriter. No. Okay, so let's go to this story. Enough with Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani. And again, I was only playing devil's advocate. Do you think, Erica, that celebrities right now should be hypersensitive to the climate that we're in, considering that so many people are unemployed and struggling? Or should they be able to just post what they want?
I think at this point, everybody should just post what they want. I mean, the real test is the response from the people following. And some people are following because that's exactly what they want to see. Some people are following because they're hate following. It's not as though if they don't post it, and before I was like, yeah, maybe because this is a very common thing, especially with the holidays. People were like, is it necessary for you to post everything that you got? For these people, that's branding. It doesn't offend me, but I can understand that some people are offended because of everything that they're going through. I do just have like a little bit of sparkle in this thing.
Why?
Stormy on that snowboard just got me, okay? I watched that over and over again because my little niece, Evelyn May, who's 2 as well, all I want her to do is come out here so I can snowboard with her. And I am so inspired by the fact that Stormy is 2. Maybe I can get Evelyn May on the snowboard this year. That was the highlight for me. I don't even care about the house.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you're saying that because that's what we should focus on. So Tom Hanks briefly revealed what he looks like with no hair. The actor recently appeared on the Graham Norton show and showed off his shaved head, which, by the way, is for a movie he's shooting in Australia. Watch.
Check out this horrible. Okay. Can you see that? No. Look at that thing.
Down. Wait,
Look
wait,
at that
wait.
goofy.
Sit down.
I just scared the children. I want to apologize.
All right, so in case you missed it, here's what Tom Hanks looks like bald. Again, there it is. A lot of people are making a big deal of this.
You don't say.
What do you make of him bald? Are there other celebrities that you think could pull it off, could not pull it off? Because there's like a whole hashtag right now whether or not that Tom Hanks can pull off a bald look.
He looks like my dad, first and foremost.
He looks like everybody's dad. Tom Hanks looks like everybody's dad, my dad too.
No, he does not. Your dad's another level.
I know.
Well, I don't want to get into 21 on that one.
Roosevelt.
Yeah,
yep.
Roosevelt. We'll get a picture of Roosevelt. He does not look like that.
Yeah.
But that being said, listen, I don't understand how people break down from the last story to the story before that to Tom Hanks bald, how they get so involved and so passionate and their little greasy fingers are motoring, like little pistons on the keyboard. It's just crazy to me how much people are involved about what people think and what they post and their interpretation of it. It drives me bananas. He's doing it for a movie role.
I would like to see you bald, Jeff.
Do we have a picture of Jeff bald?
Dang.
You look like Tom Hanks.
Oh my gosh.
Shout out to Joel Smart. He probably did that and I look like him.
Look at you. Do we have Al bald or no? No. Okay. So, but Al,
I'm basically bald anyway.
Yeah. Al, but you had a celebrity that you thought would look good bald or bad bald?
Well, I thought they would just look strange just because they're known for their hair and their flowing locks, and that's Fabio. Like, how crazy would he look bald? Because his whole claim to fame is his hair.
Wow. Al threw a reference.
He actually looks good.
Al threw an 80s reference out there.
Yeah, he did.
Al.
Who's old?
Yikes, buddy.
Listen, that's all I got.
It's embarrassing,
I will say this,
it's
though. Sam, I think we're letting this segment cloud the fact that we about what we were just talking about in the last segment, about songwriting and really great analogies. Jeff Schroeder just said, greasy fingers typing away like pistons on a keyboard. I would listen to that in a song in a second. See, there's beauty all around us, guys. We just miss it.
Thank you, Al. I am looking into songwriting in 2021.
Oh, okay.
It's one of my goals.
All right, we'll wait for that.
And I had a song called Minimum Wage. It's off the list.
Yeah, exactly. Cross that one out. Okay, so a man is being slammed on social media after his cruel proposal went viral. The video on TikTok shows him proposing to his girlfriend of 6 years in front of her family. Look at her. She's in tears. He gets down on one knee, opens the box of earrings. Yeah. Many people called the prank mean and said she should break up with him, but she later posted pics of her actual proposal in March. She said the fake proposal was from last year, and despite all the social media hate, she says her fiance is not a bad guy. Ooh, I would be so mad. I would be so mad.
Al, he totally got pressured into that engagement, don't you think?
What?
Yeah, look, I have to change. There's only one person that's been my spirit animal longer than the woman sitting next to you, Erica Cobb, and that's Judge Judy. Sam, you worked for her, and Judge Judy says things that I just keep with me my whole life. And Judge Judy always said this: when somebody would come in and complain about their ex and they're now suing, she would say, "You picked him." She's been with that dude for a while, so she knows what he's capable of, and apparently either she likes it or she's willing to tolerate it. I thought it was cruel, but hey, I don't have to live with him. She does.
In front of her whole family, Erica.
I'm with Al. She picked him.
Oh.
And stayed with him.
You picked him.
Apparently that's their thing.
No,
Maybe they have like masochistic, like, you know, psychological tendencies.
No.
Maybe that's how the glue that holds them together.
It was a joke.
You would have done that?
I don't know if I would have, but what is everyone so hypersensitive about? He got married. Good for them.
Yeah, like 6 months after the fact, he embarrassed her.
Jeez, you can't have a joke anymore.
We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
Facebook is filled with all kinds of advice about COVID, including this one titled How to Fight COVID at Home, copied and pasted thousands of times from someone who says they survived the virus in November, offering all kinds of home remedy advice.
Home remedies often don't make a lot of sense.
Our expert who agreed to verify and debunk much of that advice is Dr. David Winter.
Some are kind of crazy and some extra dangerous.
The first advice on the social media post always sleep on your stomach, it says, and then get up every 2 hours or so to walk around. Dr. Winter says no.
You know, sleeping on your stomach seems to make a lot of difference for folks in the ICU with really bad COVID pneumonia. But for folks at home, no, I don't think it makes any difference at all. Getting up a couple of times or every 2 hours doesn't make any sense at all. The main thing is to get good rest. So I don't care what position you're in, but get plenty of rest.
The Facebook post also suggests specific liquids, specific fruits and vegetables. Dr. Winter says just eat healthy, like your mom tells you to do.
If you have COVID, or any infection for that matter, drinking lots of liquids and getting plenty of rest is very important.
As for the post's suggestion to take vitamins and to take a small dose of aspirin, Dr. Winter sees no harm in that in moderation. But his best advice is boiled down to this part of our conversation. If I'm going to choose between a Facebook post and Dr. Winter, I think I know who I should probably choose in terms of getting my advice.
There's a lot of misinformation out there right now, a lot of crazy ideas. I get calls almost every day about this new idea, this new thought, and they don't usually pan out. Just use common sense. If you have a question, call your doctor.
Welcome back to DBL. We've all heard of paranormal activity, but so few have actually experienced it. So what's real or what's in our heads? Earlier, I caught up with top paranormal investigator Jason Hawes to talk about the phenomenon and get an inside look at a brand new docuseries, the Amityville Horror House. Take a look.
The demonic force at 112 Ocean Avenue has taken physical form. It's now clear the children are its main target.
We're joined by paranormal investigator and TV host Jason Hawes. Now, Jason, thank you for coming on DBL. Let's get right to it because the true crime genre has become so popular lately, but you take it to a whole new level with this new documentary series. So, Amityville Horror House is based on a true story of a family who moved into their dream home and claimed it was haunted. What was the most terrifying thing the Lutz family went through in your eyes?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different claims. I think anytime you have children involved in a place that has paranormal activity, all of it's traumatizing because you're always in fear for their safety. But we need to remember that November 13th, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. Killed 6 members of his family late at night. Then 1 year later, December 1975, George and Kathy Lutz, with their 3 children, bought and moved into the home at 112 Ocean Avenue. They've always claimed that there was just activity that they were truly terrified to be anywhere alone in that home.
Now, is there anything to be fearful of? You said you were worried about their safety. In your eyes, is there anything like you should be worried about paranormal activity in any sense?
Well, I think it depends on the type of haunting. There's different types of hauntings. And now when I go in and investigate, I believe over 80% of all claims can be disproved. So we're going in from a scientific aspect. But when there's things that are truly happening, you could have something frighten you. You fall down the stairs. You could have something that possibly could be looking to cause you some sort of bodily harm. Also, psychologically, you need to concern yourself. When it comes down to children are more prone to see things than adults because to a child, anything's possible. We got to remember, a big bunny brings them a basket, a big fat guy comes down a chimney. And it's not until we start telling them that their invisible friend Bobby or Timmy isn't real that we start closing them off and conditioning them to our belief system. So children are more prone to see spirits and paranormal activity than adults are because the world's wide open to them. So we need to take into consideration just psychologically for their protection as well.
I'm with you there, but there's a lot of skeptics out there who might not believe in paranormal activity. So convince everyone out there what's real in your mind and what's in our heads.
Well, not to believe in paranormal activity is just silly because para just means beyond. So it's the Greek word for beyond. So beyond the normal of what we're used to. Honestly, I've always been the type of person where I go in, I investigate, and I put it out there and let the world draw their own conclusion on it. And that's very much what we're doing with the Amityville Horror House show on Discovery Plus, where we give you the information, we interview a bunch of individuals, and you can draw your own conclusion. As well as, I mean, Discovery Plus, January 4th. I mean, they've got 3,000 plus hours of paranormal content. So you can go in, you can draw your own conclusions on, depending on the show and see which ones you like and which ones you don't.
I appreciate it so much. Quick answer to this one, Jason. When I shut off all the lights in my basement, I'm going upstairs and I got that creepy feeling. Is that paranormal activity or is that just in my head?
That's in your head.
That's all I wanted to hear, buddy. Thank you so much for joining us again, Jason. You can watch the brand new Amity Horror House and paranormal content on the brand new Discovery Plus streaming app. Again, Jason, thank you so much. We'll be right back, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great day, man.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about helping out your neighbors. Watch how an act of kindness spoke volumes when a woman was about to lose her home.
This woman's neighbor helped her pay rent just in time. Things have been tough for Barbara Gillard ever since her husband died. Michael Gillard died unexpectedly 3 years ago from a septic gallbladder.
I just felt lost.
Barbara fell behind rent as she struggled to make ends meet, resorting to food banks to get enough to eat. She finally found a job as a home health aide, but her first paycheck wasn't going to arrive in time. Before she got paid, Barbara's landlord sent an eviction note. So she posted on Nextdoor, asking if anyone knew of services to help. Barbara's neighbor, Mike Cuffield, saw the post and offered to help. He offered to pay her owed rent so she could stay in her home.
My first thought was how brave this woman was to reach out like that.
There are angels in Noblesville, and God put them angels in Noblesville after I reached out to him.
We need more of that right now. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Welcome back to DBL. We do want to take a moment and wish Larry King the very best. The 87-year-old TV host is being treated in the hospital for COVID-19. He was reportedly moved out of the ICU yesterday, thank God. That's according to a source close to his family. He's been in the hospital for about 10 days. So again, we want to wish Larry King all the best for a speedy recovery. We're getting a lot of comments still in regard to Erica. Elizabeth says, I truly appreciate Erica being open and real. There's too much acting like everyone and everything is okay. Prayers and condolences to your family and friends.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very much loved, Erica.
Well, I love you all, and thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Amen.
We love you.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.
DBL.